Good morning. Welcome to Right Side Broadcasting Network. I'm Robert McNeely. As President Trump is expected to host a roundtable event this afternoon. And now it is that 12:02 on the East Coast. So a good afternoon to all of my East Coast residents. And again, a very good morning to you out on that Golden Coast out west. Now, the New York Post breaking some news today. President Trump is expected to announce this $12 billion in fresh economic assistance for our farmers. Another populist move. We'll be watching that very closely. In addition to the new Texas maps. In case you missed that last week, the Supreme Court of the United States upholding the legality of the new redrawn maps in the Lone Star State. And with that, Jasmine Crockett, the very controversial far-left socialist congresswoman from the Lone Star State, expected to announce her very own campaign for the United States Senate. So we'll watch all of that as we go into 2026. And roughly 18 minutes from now, perhaps somewhat sooner, we'll be seeing the First Lady as well. We hope you had a wonderful weekend. What do some of you think about the college football playoffs? I'm very interested, curious to hear your take as a fan. And some great conference championships. Can you believe Indiana defeating Ohio State, taking over that number one seed for the 12-team playoff forthcoming, a 13-10 score in the Big Ten championship in Indianapolis, Indiana, the crossroads of America. And, of course, a big blowout victory in the Southeastern Conference Championship at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta, Georgia, and the Georgia Bulldogs over the Alabama Crimson Tide. But what are some of your thoughts on this? Should Notre Dame go into a conference? Should they have the right to complain, considering not even accepting that bid to a bowl game? Love your thoughts on that. So feedback at rsbn.tv, feedback at rsbn.tv. As the season of giving is truly in full swing here. Christmas 2 weeks away as we celebrate Advent and Hanukkah next week. So season's greetings to all out there as we celebrate what truly is the most festive and the most wonderful time of the year. And with that as well, during this broadcast, we will showcase what happened this weekend as well. President Trump enjoying dinners and galas to celebrate those movers and shakers in American music to television and film, and entertainers that really have shaped the American ethos, celebrated at the Kennedy Center honors, as well as a Friday night performance at the White House. Andrea Bocelli, America's tenor, once again, celebrating the Christmas season at the White House. Does this president ever slow down? I don't think so, as there is some fallout from the Henry Cuellar pardoning. President Trump taking to Truth Social if cut number 5 is ready, Mr. Producer. But as President Trump said, can you imagine the Democrats under the crooked Joe Biden administration, who always use extreme force and jail time to destroy their political opponents, wanted to put Congressman Henry Cuellar and his wife Imelda in prison for 15 years, which I predicted these radical left lunatics would do. And they never stopped wanting to fulfill this evil quest. The Dems mercilessly, say that 10 times fast, went after Henry with everything that they had. Now, they were looking to destroy him, his lovely wife, and his 2 young daughters, and anyone close to them. When the Democrats overwhelmingly lost the 2024 presidential election and power with it, they regardless did everything they could to keep going after the Cuellar family. The Dems were vicious, and all because Henry strongly wanted correctly border security. He was against illegals pouring into our country totally unchecked and unvetted. The congressman did not want gang members, drug dealers, violent prisoners, murderers in the good old U.S. of A. It was all very unfair what they were doing to him and his family, so much so that his daughters wrote me this beautiful letter, and their parents, and that was just posted on Truth as well. After reading it, I decided in the interest of justice and based on the daughter's loving request that I would give Henry and Imelda a full and complete pardon. I never spoke to the congressman, his wife, or his daughters, but felt very good about fighting for a family that was tormented by very sick and deranged people. They were treated so badly. I signed the papers and said to the people in the Oval Office that I just did a very good, perhaps life-saving thing. God was very happy with me that day. Then it happened. Only a short time after the signing of the pardon, Congressman Henry Cuellar announced that he will again be running for Congress in the great state of Texas, a state where I received the highest number of votes ever recorded as a Democrat, continuing to work with the same radical left scum that just weeks before wanted him and his wife to spend the rest of their lives in prison, and probably still do. Such a lack of loyalty, something that Texas voters and Henry's daughters will not like. Oh, well, next time, no more Mr. Nice Guy, President Donald J. Trump. So if you break down Mr. Cuellar's district, it was once very Democrat along the Texas-Mexican border. Now, the Cook PVI showcasing really an index of where a district might lean. Well, it's leaning right now 2 points Republican. But Mr. Cuellar, someone who has claimed to put country over party and give credit where credit's due, did just that when it came to border security and the fentanyl trafficking. Think about this, over 800,000 of some of our youngest people dying from fentanyl trafficking over the course of the Otto Penn administration. And now you even have a church, a so-called church, north of Chicago in Evanston, Illinois, that has put a display out there of the nativity scene with Jesus binded together with ropes, ICE agents as Roman centurions, and not even being historically accurate about a situation where King Herod wanted our Lord and Savior dead. No one, ICE doesn't want people dead. They're literally saving lives. Tom Homan has held children in his arms that have been trafficked over the border, that don't know where their parents are, where their family members are. Where were certain pastors during that travesty that took place over the last few years? As President Trump to host a roundtable event at 2 Eastern. Stay with us today for full unbridled access to your government, the one you put into place just last year in November. We're very grateful for our sponsors here on the right side of history, especially All Family Pharmacy, because this is the season of giving. This is the time to get together with friends and family and celebrate the real reason for the season. But with all that hustle and bustle, all of that travel, going through the airports, by car even, or even by train, you might catch a cold along the way. So be prepared. Stock up your medicine cabinet with Tamiflu, antibiotics, ivermectin, NAD+, methylene blue, and much, much, much more at allfamilypharmacy.com/RSBN for 10% off now your must-have meds for this beautiful time of year, this holiday season, with code RSBN10. That's RSBN10. Scan that QR code now. allfamilypharmacy.com/RSBN. They want you to have the right to try. They believe in most favored nation status here, as this administration does as well. So why not try those off-label generics that are cost-effective, reviewed by a U.S. doctor, and sent right to your door within a matter of days from your order, instead of going to the pharmacy down the street that won't even prescribe these life-saving medications? allfamilypharmacy.com/RSBN. Also, thank you to Monetary Gold for wealth and preservation, for security and diversification of the wealth you worked hard for, from retirement to pensions to your salary. Grab that presidential gold guide today and look at how you can partake in this bull market, a bull market focused on gold and silver skyrocketing since the inauguration and January 20th. BRICS nations, friends and foes, now divesting from the American dollar on a global scale. What are you to do when paper money does not serve you? With banks failing, with Robert Kiyosaki, a friend of ours, stating about the American dollar going down in purchasing power by 40%, a big 40 over the course of the last 2 decades. What are you to do when things like that happen in the global economy? Call immediately to discover how you can eliminate IRA fees permanently for life at RSBN for the Gold. RSBNforthegold.com, 888-617-7994. As we are anticipating the First Lady moments from now, she has been really out and about celebrating the Advent and Christmas seasons of giving, and especially last week to partake in that national ceremony of not only lighting the Christmas tree outside the White House with President Trump, with a remarkable presidential message about what really matters this time of year, faith and family and freedom, but also reading to children at the National Children's Hospital in Washington, D.C. Hey, Santa Claus was on hand for that, and Mrs. Claus as well. And at church yesterday, I got to see St. Nick himself, as December 6th, the great feast of St. Nicholas. And the Santa Claus story, what's neat about it is he was actually a real person. Back early on, dating back to, if my history serves me right, the 6th century. I'm going to double check that for you, but great to see St. Nick at church this weekend as well. It truly is the most festive time of year, and I hope that 2 weeks away, you're gearing up to be with friends and family. In the meantime, we'll have all of the latest from inside and outside of the Beltway, as there are only 2 vacancies currently left in the United States House of Representatives. So going back to the Lone Star State of Texas, Texas 18, Sylvester Turner, the former mayor of Houston, passing away earlier this year at the age of 70. That's a big Democrat district in and around the Houston proverb, very gerrymandered, and will not be affected by the new maps quite yet. So we anticipate that to be retained by the Democrat Party for an election coming up this December. And then April 16th of next year, we look towards Mickey Sherrill's seat, the governor-elect of the Garden State of New Jersey. It is Democrat +5, so it might be an opportunity there for Republicans to pick up in the midterm cycle. And again, with those special elections, you tend to have the lower turnout. Just last week, of course, Tennessee 7 being filled by Matt Van Epps, defeating Afton Bain, the AOC of Tennessee. So this midterm is really being anticipated to be similar to a presidential election, as President Trump has called for a biennial convention. So instead of once every 4 years, we'll have the Republican Party coming together again in 2026 with delegates and alternates. And I actually really like the idea, having been part of it before and an alternate delegate from the Peach State myself. It's good to see the National Party and the apparatus of it a bit more often than every 4 years. And there's different ways to do that, whether that be a Turning Point Action Conference with the upcoming America Fest to CPAC. You get to see the grassroots in action, and you could do that on an annual basis. But to actually see the party apparatus and the structure from each congressional district, from each respective state, and to break bread with your fellow GOP members and grassroots activists, very, very positive as we go into what's really going to be a make it or break it year for the Trump presidency, because this Democrat Party has pledged, per Governor Newsom, their very likely Democrat nominee for the 2028 presidential campaign, stating that he wants to make Hakeem Jeffries Speaker of the House with a victory this upcoming year. He also wants to see the impeachment of President Trump. We're going to hear that narrative coming from the far left because they do not have messaging. They do not have problems to solve for the American people, especially on things like affordability, especially of cost effectiveness and stopping an increase in inflation, where we're seeing all those prices come down, especially at the grocery store and especially at the gas pump. So we'll watch that campaign extraordinarily closely as Matthew Alvarez in the field heading to Mount Pocono, Pennsylvania, the Commonwealth, for what's to be really the kickoff of the 2026 midterms tomorrow. So be here for that coverage. Yours truly here in studio to watch all of the action for you. And President Trump anticipated to be at a manufacturing facility of roughly 2,000. So we'll have that all in store for you tomorrow. So a big week here at Right Side Broadcasting Network as we await the First Lady, Melania Trump, just moments away for even more reason for the season of giving. President Trump to host a roundtable event at 2 o'clock this afternoon. In the meantime, we'll continue to bring you the latest news from the White House as President Trump, with cut number one, saying thank you to Mr. Cristiano Ronaldo, the great soccer football player, just called to thank me for his tour this week of the White House and the Oval Office. What an incredible guy he is, not only an athlete, but as a person. You just don't get any better. President DJT, and the president continuing to double down on the sports narrative with cut number two, and Roger Clemens, that he's hoping the Baseball Hall of Fame, as they meet this week, voting on admitting new members. And these highly respected owners, executives, writers, and most importantly, Hall of Famers should do the right thing by finally putting Roger Clemens, known as the Rocket, in the Hall. Roger is clearly one of the greatest pitchers of all time, with amazing achievements that include winning 354 games, 7 Cy Young Awards, a record by a lot, and playing in 6 World Series, winning 2 of those. The Rocket is second only to another all-time great, Hall of Famer Nolan Ryan, in most strikeouts. And he won 300 games. To not have the honor of being enshrined in the Hall of Fame, which is a total travesty. The only reason he has not is because of rumors and innuendo, which were not proven. He never tested positive. And when the Obama DOJ went after him in a criminal case, claiming that he did take steroids, Roger, who has fully denied any taking of drugs, was fully acquitted of all charges. Now, the Rocket, a nickname he earned very early in his career because of his blazing fastball, was just as dominant before those erroneous allegations were leveled against him. I sincerely hope that the committee uses its great judgment. Roger's opponents never proved a thing against him, and he may have the best pitching record all told in the history of Major League Baseball. And the baseball commissioner has the strength, wisdom, and power to do the right thing and put Roger Clemens in the Baseball Hall of Fame immediately. Thank you for your attention to this matter, President Donald John Trump. And with the Indiana wins from the football Big Ten Conference Championship on Saturday, we'll dive into those new maps after we thank Kalshi.com/RSBN. And your take is exactly on college football. Who will win this year? Will it be the Ohio State Buckeyes, who fell to the Indiana Hoosiers? The first time Indiana has had an outright Big Ten championship in football since 1945. And the final year of World War II. That's amazing to think of. And those Georgia Bulldogs, they ran over the Alabama Crimson Tide on Saturday at the SEC Championship at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta, Georgia. 12 teams coming together to determine that over the course of the next month. We look forward to that competition. Will Jensen Wang be Times Person of the Year for 2025? It's Kalshi.com/RSBN. And again, the question of my Chicago Bears, will they be able to hold on? A heartbreaking loss at Lambeau Field yesterday, but let not your heart be troubled. Still have 4 games in the regular season, but they dropped from the number 1 seed in the NFC North down to, my goodness, number 7. What a turn of events, but we look forward to those further games. You can bet and trade on all of it at Kalshi.com/RSBN. Also, we would like to thank angelpaste.com, the miracle cream that goes so far all year round. I use that vitamin B miracle cream for my skin. And this time of year, really great with the cold temperatures and that dry air that comes in. So you don't want that dry, crackly skin around the holidays. They also have an orange option, vitamin C infused, non-GMO, no chemicals, tremendous. Also, their natural facial spray. Again, no chemicals, non-GMO, and healthy for you. They're Christian-owned. They hire veterans. They're based in Spring, Texas, right off the Gulf of America. Experience the miracle that is angelpaste.com. Thank you for sponsoring us on the right side of history as we await the First Lady Melania Trump just moments away. President Trump will be up at 2 o'clock, so stick with us here on Right Side Broadcasting for unbridled access to your federal government inside and outside of the Beltway. We'll take a quick commercial break for sponsors. You're on the right side of history. Welcome to Right Side Broadcasting Network, your trusted conservative news outlet. At RSBN, we deliver the truth when the mainstream media falls short. Since 2015, we've proudly broadcasted every single one of President Trump's iconic MAGA rallies, bringing you the excitement and energy live before anyone else. By watching RSBN, you get an unfiltered front row view of the action on the ground. We interview the crowds to give a voice to millions of Americans just like you. We show you President Trump's speeches in their entirety, free from interruptions and censorship. We cover the stories that matter to you with the integrity and passion you deserve. Thank you for choosing RSBN as your home for America First news. Together, we stand strong, united, and informed. So join us and be part of the right side of history.
Every once in a while, something big happens, something that changes everything. And now, in a defining moment for crypto, Trump Media Group and Crypto.com are joining forces to acquire up to $6.4 billion of CRO, launching America's first ever CRO treasury, empowering the Kronos blockchain. This is more than a partnership. It's the future of finance built in America. For more, visit Crypto.com, where millions trade CRO every day.
Tired of being told no by your doctor, your pharmacy, or worse, your insurance company? You're not alone. Millions of Americans are waking up to a broken healthcare system. That's why more and more people are turning to All Family Pharmacy. We believe in medical freedom. We deliver the prescription and the medication, all from licensed U.S. doctors and pharmacists, from ivermectin and trusted antibiotics to maintenance medications, even NAD+, the revolutionary anti-aging supplement. Use code RSBN10 at checkout for 10% off your first order.
Hey y'all, it's Silk from Diamond and Silk Chit Chat Live. Look, don't forget to watch my show right here at Right Side Broadcasting Network, and I want you to support Right Side Broadcasting Network. It's imperative that you do so, okay? Bye-bye.
Welcome back to Right Side Broadcasting Network as we'll continue with the news of the day and those ongoing changes in the maps with cut number 3. Indiana, the latest state, the crossroads of America, addressing this within their House and Senate. Congratulations to Indiana's tremendous Republican state representatives led by the great Speaker Todd Houston and bill sponsor Ben Schmaltz and Elections Committee Chairman Tim Wesco, who just overwhelmingly voted to pass their new, much fairer and improved congressional maps. It was my honor to win Indiana 6 times, including primaries in 2018, 2020, and 2024. And this new map would be incredible for the people of Indiana, the opportunity to elect 2 additional Republicans in the 2026 midterm elections. Now, the Indiana Senate must now pass this map as is and get it to Governor Mike Braun's desk ASAP to deliver a gigantic victory for Republicans in the Hoosier State and across the country. I am hearing that these 9 senators, some of whom are up for re-election in 2026 and some in 2028, need encouragement to make the right decision. And they are all named there in the Truth Social post by President Trump. Let your voice be heard and clear in support for the senators doing the right thing. Thank you for your attention to this matter. It's going to be very vital, these upcoming elections, that they are treated as a presidential year because, as I mentioned earlier, the Democrats very committed to the impeachment once again of President Trump, and really for no reason other than they don't like his policies. They don't care for his governance, which has been legal, which has been extraordinary, which is bringing billions back to the United States through the use of tariffs, as we are watching closely with that potential Supreme Court ruling to come up on the tariff issue. Sadly, another tragic stabbing happening in Charlotte, North Carolina, with post number 4, President Trump taking to Truth Social that this did happen by an illegal migrant in Charlotte, North Carolina. What is going on in Charlotte? Democrats are destroying it like everything else, piece by piece. And our thoughts and prayers are with those who might be dealing with these terrible situations. You think about some have to take public transportation and the trains to get to their jobs. In many cases, very convenient when you're in these big cities. I used to do that when I lived in Chicago, Illinois, right near Wrigley Field. I was taking that to the job, and it was back about a decade ago. Everyone would always look over their shoulder, but at the same time, the train was normally relatively busy. But it seems as if you have to really do that nowadays, and it's time for Democrats to start backing police officers, allowing state, local, federal officials to do their jobs and to stop putting up. Of course, we have free speech, and I'm all about it, even the speech that's hateful. But to have a church actually put up a nativity scene that would go after ICE agents and belittle the season that we're celebrating, it's really quite tragic to see. As the Marines are lining up there, we will have the First Lady Melania Trump just moments from now to celebrate, again, continued Christmas tidings, which is extraordinarily exciting to see. Now, Miami's mayoral election is tomorrow as well. We might be fortunate enough to have the Trump-endorsed candidate for an exclusive interview as well. Before that, of course, it's very busy in those few hours coming into an election. But Miami's mayor race is Tuesday. It's big and important. Vote for Republican Gonzalez. He is fantastic. You can also vote today. Make America great again. So we'll keep you posted on that. As the children get together to see the First Lady of the United States. She's a fan favorite, especially of those little ones out there. Let's go there live now to catch all of the sights and sounds with the United States Marine Corps and your very own First Lady of the United States.
All right, good afternoon, girls and boys. Welcome. Marine Corps Base Quantico, thank you for the support of this year's Toys for event. The United States Marine Corps Toys for Tots program has been assisting families since 1947, and this year marks the 78th anniversary of our program. Our goal is to reach another record number of children across this great nation. I would personally like to thank the White House, and specifically the Office of the First Lady, for their continued support to the program and being a significant donor in the nation's capital. These donations make a critical impact on the less fortunate children and families in Washington, D.C. and the National Capital Region. Last year, Toys for Tots provided 30 million toys to over 13 million children. And with your help today, we will reach even more this year. So girls and boys, it is my pleasure to introduce our host for this amazing event, the First Lady of the United States of America, Mrs. Melania Trump.
Thank you, General Anderson. It's wonderful to join everyone here at Marine Corps Base Quantico. You might be wondering why Santa asked me to bring him here today. Well, this wonderful adventure is filled with Christmas sparkle and lots of love. Santa's reindeer, Rudolph, Dasher, Comet, all of them, they are resting in the North Pole. They need to save all of their energy for their great flight around the world on Christmas Eve. Santa told me they are snuggled beneath warm, fluffy blankets, sipping candy cane cocoa, feeling the joy and love that will soon be shared with amazing children everywhere. So, with his sleigh parked safely with his reindeer, Santa climbed aboard my Osprey and couldn't stop smiling. I watched him gazing out of the window, grinning at all of the wonderful American families below. Santa told me that the Osprey floated through the sky like a giant snowflake, but it is way faster than a sleigh could ever fly. Santa, where are you, Santa? Thank you for joining me. Today, we are here for one of the most beloved traditions of the holiday season, Toys for Tots, led by United States Marine Corps Reserve. For more than 75 years, Marines and volunteers across America collect and deliver new toys to children who need a little extra joy during Christmas, all wrapped with love and great care. To everyone here at Quantico and all those who support the Toys for Tots Foundation, thank you. This includes the Toy Association's generous support. I'm grateful for your partnership and dedication to promoting fun and creativity. You help bring the delight of Christmas morning to millions of children, and you remind us all that American tradition, kindness, and love remain among our most powerful. To the families of military personnel, you are the heart of today's celebration. Your strength in the face of the adversity is inspirational. Some of the children here today have a parent stationed away from home right now. I know this can be difficult. On behalf of our nation, thank you. And thank you to the parents and guardians who are here today. Your support and resilience empower our Marines to serve with honor and distinction. Whether near or far, you eliminate every occasion, enriching everyone's life. This Christmas season, you, your friends, and your families should wish for the ultimate gift, love. After all, love travels further than Santa's sleigh, and American ospreys. Thank you, and Merry Christmas, and Happy and Healthy New Year. Thank you.
Well, thank you once again to First Lady Melania Trump and the United States Marines. The Toys for Tots, a great annual tradition, and wonderful to see the celebrations taking place there with Santa Claus on hand. I think I saw Buddy the Elf in the background too. So a star-studded event today with our First Lady and the United States Marines, and how adorable are the kiddos. It makes me excited to open some presents. 2 weeks from now. Share some of those traditions with us, please. Feedback at rsbn.tv, feedback at rsbn.tv as we really light up the darkness of the season, giving less sunlight, but the warmth that comes into our hearts and homes unlike any other. As I'm enjoying very much going through my social media and seeing friends and colleagues in the federal city enjoying the White House. So if you have the opportunity to go visit this time of year, perhaps the best to do just that and see Home is Where the Heart Is, the theme of First Lady Melania Trump and the White House celebrations. Looks fantastic on the inside of the People's House. Thank you to allfamilypharmacy.com/RSBN, because as I was mentioning this time of year, it's family, faith, friends, and being together. But that togetherness can lead to a season of sickness as well, with cold and flu and even a low-level strain of COVID still out there in the stratosphere. Tamiflu to antibiotics, ivermectin, NAD+, methylene blue, and much, much, much more. 300+ essential medications that are all right to try, that have generics that are affordable and ready for your use. It's no insurance, no hassle, no red tape, no bureaucracy, just a pharmaceutical note, all reviewed by a U.S. licensed medical doctor. And once you order that, those life-saving medications to your door in a matter of days. So stock up your medicine cabinet. You can take these on the road with you for your Christmas vacation. RSBN10 is the code, RSBN10. Scan the QR code now for 10% off of RSBN's favored allfamilypharmacy.com/RSBN. And once you have your health in order, make sure your financial wealth stays preserved with securities through Monetary Gold, the best in the business. Grab that complimentary presidential gold guide today, 888-617-7994. Ask how you can eliminate those IRA fees permanently for life. It's rsbnforthegold.com. Call immediately to discover how you can eliminate IRA fees permanently for life. rsbnforthegold.com. You have the BRICS nations, friends and foes, all divesting from the American dollar. In addition to that, banks are failing. World central banks buying up gold and silver in this bull market for both hot commodities, precious metals you can hold in your hands. The American dollar going down in purchasing power by 40% in the last 2 decades. So this is not something that's of a luxury, but rather really something you must do in order to protect you and your family, whether it's generational wealth or purchasing that first or second property. Gold and silver can help out with that. And what's so great about the people at Monetary Gold, especially Scott Chenet, our dear partner, the senior portfolio manager out in Los Angeles, California, if you call them up today or go online, they'll walk you through a professional and personalized plan. No two plans fit the same shoe. So call today about those elimination of the IRA fees and how gold and silver can protect your financial health, the retirement, the savings, the pensions you worked hard for. It's smart to diversify, especially with gold and silver in today's market. Thank you for sponsoring us on the right side of history. So from your health for the holidays to your financial health for your retirement, how about your gut health, or even buying a great present for that person in your life that's a bit difficult to buy for? covepure.com/RSBN. This is my favorite reverse osmosis system. $250 off the holiday sale right now. As you can see, it's a leader in reverse osmosis technologies. Their ClearWave technology removes 99.9% of the fluoride, pesticides, agricultural runoff, even hormone-disrupting blockers like birth control. And you may ask, Robert, why would birth control be in my water? Here's the problem. Not every water treatment center gets all of the toxins out at that 100% rate. So having this amazing technology right at your fingertips makes a massive difference. JAMA Pediatrics doing a study that there's not only those horrible pesticides and fluoride in the water, but lead. Remember Flint, Michigan, and the Democrat-run cities that allowed those pipes to grow too old? That lead poisoning can lead to brain damage, to gut damage, kidney and liver failure. You don't want that. So protect what matters most at covepure.com/RSBN. Also, this is wonderful if someone is renting because you don't have to drill the holes into the walls and you got all the pipes, or a plumber doesn't even need to come over. You just set that up right there as is. And if you're a tea drinker as well, a huge benefit because you see the temperatures can be changed on a dial instantly. So whether it's cold water, lukewarm, hot, you have it right there and available, just like a coffee machine on the counter. So do not delay. Move on this today. A great gift this Christmas season. Drink Pure, Live Pure, CovePure.com/RSBN. Let's go back to the Toys for Tots. The First Lady is making some Christmas cards with the kids in Washington, D.C. What a treat for the kids to be at the Toys for Tots with the Marines and the First Lady of the United States. She really is America's mom. And at the end of the day, these are family people, the Trumps. They've put so much on the line for this country over the last decade, and we are grateful for them in this season of Thanksgiving and gratefulness. President Trump will join us an hour from now, this roundtable event we're covering at 2 o'clock Eastern. So be sure to tune in with us in case you missed it. Some of America's greatest artists honored this year at the Kennedy Center Honors, and President Trump hosting the MC himself as he not only drew the United States of America for the FIFA competition in Group D coming up in 2026, but enjoying what's becoming a new Kennedy Center, a revitalized Kennedy Center there to honor the arts, to honor the 35th President of the United States. Again, those honorees including KISS with members, founding members Paul Stanley and Gene Simmons, and of course their famous drummer Peter Criss, and Sylvester Stallone, Rocky, and Rambo himself. Gloria Gaynor, her amazing, remarkable voice, and that of the original Phantom of the Opera, Michael Crawford. That's really a star-studded group who inspired me in countless ways growing up in the entertainment world. And I actually got to meet one of them about a decade ago, Mr. Gene Simmons himself. What a character, and someone who is quite a gentleman in person. So we had a nice conversation there. We actually have footage, in case you missed it, of the Oval Office and President Trump awarding them these medals. And, let not your heart be troubled as well. The legend himself, Mr. George Strait, also honored. So for country music fans out there as well, what a group of 7 receiving the Kennedy Center Awards that not only signify their contributions to the arts, but what they have done as American citizens and given back in countless ways. And we'll take you there from this weekend back on Saturday.
In arts and culture, and that's what you have beside me. They are incredible people. I know most of them, and I've been a fan of all of them. And it's been a real honor to get to know them during this little period of time. This is a group of icons whose work and accomplishments have inspired, uplifted, and unified millions and millions of Americans. This is perhaps the most...
We're going to work out some of that audio for you. It's a little bit poppy there, so don't want to put you through that. In the meantime, we can honor, yesterday was, with cut number 9, the Pearl Harbor Remembrance Day, the 84th anniversary. And very sadly, a lot of the veterans who are still with us, not many, in fact, there's only 12 surviving who experienced that horrible day on December 7th, 1941, a date which on today, December 8th, 1941, President Franklin Delano Roosevelt called a date which will live in infamy, asking Congress to declare war on the Empire of Japan from a joint session of Congress. Only 12 are still with us. And we remember that very sad day when countless military members were taken within a matter of moments. And it was on a Sunday. And the thing about God being with us, especially during that time, many of our ships were actually out of the harbor being repaired or worked on outside of Pearl Harbor itself. If you have the opportunity to go out there and to view this, it's quite a sight. And it's something that's seared on my memory, seeing the USS Arizona. And it's a grave. It really is. It's a sad thing to think about that. So many young men trapped on that ship after that attack and lay at rest there at Pearl Harbor, which continues to be a strong central point in U.S. command for the Pacific. And did it wound us? Yes. But as Japanese Admiral said, we have awakened a sleeping giant, and we know what happened there in history in a brutal battle throughout the Pacific, especially with the turn in the Battle of Midway in 1942. But yesterday, remembering those lives lost and those brave sailors at naval and marine forces at Pearl Harbor, Hawaii, 84 years ago, yesterday, December 7th, 1941, a date which will live in infamy. President Trump to host a roundtable at 2 o'clock Eastern. We'll take a quick commercial break for sponsorships, and we'll be right back with you here on Right Side Broadcasting Network.
Welcome to Right Side Broadcasting Network, your trusted conservative news outlet. At RSBN, we deliver the truth when the mainstream media falls short. Since 2015, we've proudly broadcasted every single one of President Trump's iconic MAGA rallies, bringing you the excitement and energy live before anyone else. By watching RSBN, you get an unfiltered front row view of the action on the ground. We interview the crowds to give a voice to millions of Americans just like you. We show you President Trump's speeches in their entirety, free from interruptions and censorship. We cover the stories that matter to you with the integrity and passion you deserve. Thank you for choosing RSBN as your home for America First News. Together, we stand strong, united, and informed. So join us and be part of the right side of history.
Every once in a while, something big happens, something that changes everything. And now, in a defining moment for crypto, Trump Media Group and Crypto.com are joining forces to acquire up to $6.4 billion of CRO, launching America's first ever CRO treasury, empowering the Kronos blockchain. This is more than a partnership. It's the future of finance built in America. For more, visit Crypto.com, where millions trade CRO every day.
Tired of being told no by your doctor, your pharmacy, or worse, your insurance company? You're not alone. Millions of Americans are waking up to a broken healthcare system. That's why more and more people are turning to All Family Pharmacy. We believe in medical freedom. We deliver the prescription and the medication, all from licensed U.S. doctors and pharmacists, from ivermectin and trusted antibiotics to maintenance medications, even NAD+, the revolutionary anti-aging supplement. Use code RSBN10 at checkout for 10% off your first order.
Hey y'all, it's Silk from Diamond and Silk Chit Chat Live. Look, don't forget to watch my show right here at Right Side Broadcasting Network, and I want you to support Right Side Broadcasting Network. It's imperative that you do so, okay? Bye-bye.
If you're looking for a great way to protect yourself online, it's Venice.com or Venice.ai/RSBN. A great way to protect your footprint online, whether it's just simply talking over the phone to emails and texts. Sometimes those get leaked. Gosh, we've seen those leaks over the last decade or so. Remember Hillary Clinton's bleach bit? I think she could have used something like a Venice.ai/RSBN. 20% off now with code RSBN. A smart thing to do to protect yourself online and your online reputation, especially if you have young ones at home, students as well. A good conversation to have with them. Take that breath first before you want to respond via text, and level heads do prevail. But Venice.ai/RSBN can help you with that immensely. Our newest sponsor here at Right Side Broadcasting Network, 20% off with code RSBN. As we await President Trump at 2 o'clock, we thank mypillow.com/RSBN. Merry Christmas. Save up to 80% this holiday season. It's a big 80, promo code RSBN. Support Mike Lindell and Right Side Broadcasting Network, mypillow.com/RSBN. With Mr. Mike Lindell, we had the pleasure of talking to him last week on The Voice of Reason, and he has a big Thursday coming up, so we look forward to seeing him again on the network very soon. Merry Christmas to Mike Lindell and company. 2,000 different items at mypillow.com/RSBN. Great stocking stuffers, from the My Pillows to My Coffee, some of my favorite out there. Free and fair trade coffee for you. And the My Slippers, very comfy to have around the house. President Trump to host a roundtable at 2 o'clock. In addition to tomorrow in Mount Pocono, Pennsylvania, Matthew Alvarez will be in the field to cover what's really the kickoff of an economic tour for President Trump focused on domestic policy. We're looking at a 2026 election that might be very similar to 1992 and the Bill Clinton campaign that also said, let's make America great again. Remember that slogan, dating back to even President Ronald Reagan in the 1980s. But it's all about the economy, stupid, as James Carville, Democrat strategist, continues to put it. Really quite a character in his own right. Someone who's a traditional liberal. We'd like to see the Democrats get some of those traditional liberals back in the mainstream, but we know that 98% or 98 of them in the House voting not to condemn socialism. Very interesting that they would take such a hard stance on that, and they'd be cheering on for socialism and communism as their leader, Mr. Kami Mamdani, taking office on January 1st in the Big Apple, something that is going to really mark the 2026 elections. We're going to go back now to the Kennedy Center Awards in the Oval Office back on Saturday night. Again, Gene Simmons and Paul Stanley, the founding members of the rock band Kiss, and drummer Peter Criss, their original drummer, and he came back a time or two to join those gentlemen, and including George Strait, Sylvester Stallone, Gloria Gaynor, and Michael Crawford, was a star-studded 7 who have contributed so much to the arts in this country, but also love the United States of America. And President Trump, I think, a big fan in his own right, as he hosted the other night.
In American arts and culture, and that's what you have beside me. They are incredible people. I know most of them, and I've been a fan of all of them. And it's been a real honor to get to know them during this little period of time. This is a group of icons whose work and accomplishments have inspired, uplifted, and unified millions and millions of Americans. This is perhaps the most accomplished and renowned class of Kennedy Center honorees ever assembled. We have country music legend George. Got it? Turned off. Got it? We have country music legend George Strait. George, thank you very much. Let me do this right now, George. I think if you want to leave it on, you can. I think we can get it through. Okay. Oh, he's got good hair.
A little bit. I still got a little
I'm surprised. Sometimes they take it off and there's not a lot.
There's not a lot.
Thank you. Thank you. We have a great star of Broadway. I've seen the show many times and other shows of his, Michael Crawford. Michael, thank you. Thank you, Michael. Let me do that. Very good. Thank you, Michael. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Beautiful. We have the disco queen, and she was indeed. And nobody did it like Gloria Gaynor. Gloria, thank you very much. Oh, that's a good head of hair. That's beautiful. Thank you, Gloria. Thank you. Thank you, darling. A friend of mine, a wonderful person, a spectacular person, one of the true great movie stars. There aren't many. There used to be a lot. There aren't many now. But he's one of the great legends and had some of the greatest movies ever, including the top grossing movies ever. Sylvester Sly Stallone. Sly. Thank you. Proud of you. This is great, Sly. It's an honor.
Oh, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Should I
Thank
go
you.
over here? Thank
Yeah, sounds good. Thank you, Sly. And the members of the incredible rock band Kiss, Paul Stanley, Gene Simmons, Peter Criss, and Ace Frehley, who now is resting in peace, and his beautiful daughter is here to accept the award. Thank you very much. Thank you for being here. Thank you. That's pretty good stuff, huh? Let me turn that around. Thank you. That's great. My friend for a long time.
Thank you, Mr.
That's good.
President.
Thank you very much. My friend for a long time. Okay, that's good.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you very much.
It's an honor.
And I think your father would be very happy to have you wear this, okay? Thank you very much. He's a great guy. Thank you very much. Those are great people. In a few moments, we will be presenting these stars with their Kennedy Center honors medallions, which were redesigned this year with the help of the fantastic team at Tiffany and Company, and I want to congratulate them. They have done a fantastic job. They're wonderful people. I know them very well because they're right next to Trump Tower. I've lived with them for many years, and they really have done a great job. So I want to thank Tiffany. Thank you very much. We're also joined by members of the Kennedy Center Board of Trustees who are doing a really great job. And as you know, the building is being renovated, fully renovated. It's being I would say fixed at a level that nobody's ever seen before. We're going to make it something really special. It's been tired. It's been mistreated, a little bit like the White House has been mistreated, to be honest with you. And we're bringing it back to a level that I don't think any place in the country will see. We were given quite a bit of money by Congress to do the job, and we're doing it right. And you'll see the new marble and the renovated marble and all of the different rooms, major auditoriums. The sound is so fantastic. One of the very big prerequisites, and something that doesn't happen often, is when you have great sound, you take advantage of it. And the Kennedy Center has great, great sound. If they build it, fellas, you know this. Gloria, you would know it very well. George, you'd know it very well. Oh, Michael would know it so well. But if it's built with bad sound, you never get it fixed, right? It just doesn't work. They've tried very hard at Lincoln Center and other places and hasn't worked out too well. But I just want to thank the executive director, Rick Grinnell. Rick, thank you very much. Thank you, Rick. Ambassador Sergio Gore, ambassador to India. Thank you, Sergio. Great job. And other friends and distinguished guests, Mr. and Mrs. Ike Perlmutter. So many people are here that are great friends. Mrs. Fisher, thank you very much. Very much. We have some unbelievable people on the board, the most prestigious board, I think, now, maybe in Washington. From Newark, New Jersey to Poteet, Texas, from New York City to as far away as London, These are among the greatest artists, actors, and performers of their generation, the greatest that we've seen. We can hardly imagine the country music phenomena without its king of country, or the American disco without its first lady, or Broadway without its phantom. And that was a phantom, let me tell you. Or rock and roll without its hottest band in the world, and that's what they are. Or Hollywood without one of its greatest visionaries. Each of you has made an indelible mark on American life, and together you have defined entire genres and set new standards for the performing arts. You have set new standards. On behalf of every American who has been inspired by the unbelievable talent of Michael Crawford, who has been influenced by the music of George Strait or Gloria Gaynor or Kiss, or who has been moved by Sylvester Stallone's unmatched heart and talent and grit, because nobody played that role, and nobody will ever play that role like Sly. We want to thank you all. We want to thank you all. Really tremendous. Thank you. Thank you. So we're going to have a good time tonight. I look forward to celebrating with all of you at the Kennedy Center tomorrow. And it's going to be something that I believe, and I'm going to make a prediction, this will be the highest rated show that they've ever done. And they've gotten some pretty good ratings, but there's nothing like what's going to happen tomorrow night. So I just want to thank you all. I want to congratulate you all. And I want to thank the media. They've treated this with such great respect. We very much appreciate it. Now we're going to go to the State Department with Secretary of State Rubio and have a special event, something which was never done before, but we never had a president hosting the awards before. This is the first. I'm sure they'll give me great reviews, right? You know, they'll say he was horrible, he was terrible, it was a horrible situation. No, we'll do fine. I've watched some of the people that host. Jimmy Kimmel was horrible. Some of these people, if I can't beat out Jimmy Kimmel in terms of talent, then I don't think I should be president. But I want to just thank you all, because this is a special night. And I think you're going to see that at the end of this evening, and by the end of these 2 days, you're going to say this is one of the most special days in your life. And I think a few of you have already told me it already was. So thank you all very much. Congratulations, and we'll see you in a couple of minutes. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, media. Thank you very much. Please.
Thank you to allfamilypharmacy.com/RSBN to remain healthy this holiday season. A lot of traveling. We'll be heading by plane, train, and automobile. So that means cold and flu could get you, and you don't want that to happen before Hanukkah and Christmas. So Tamiflu, antibiotics, ivermectin, and much, much more available for your use with the right to try. Most favored nation status leaning allfamilypharmacy.com/RSBN. The best online pharmacy there is, bar none. They have a U.S. doctor ready to review all of the medications and orders, 300 plus ready for you to go. And it will be at your doorstep once you order within a few days. Now, many other pharmacies simply don't have things like NAD+, methylene blue, and these life-saving medications, hydrochloroquine included, that can be there for you, even if you don't have insurance. There's no red tape, no bureaucracy. They're simply interested in a pharmaceutical note and taking care of the good patriots at home who watch Right Side Broadcasting Network. So scan that QR code today, code RSBN10 for 10% off the must-haves, the medications that are so essential this holiday season. And what's even better, you can travel with them as well. allfamilypharmacy.com/RSBN. We know that the central bank's buying up gold and silver, so get in on the game with wealth and security preservation to protect what you have worked hard for, retirement savings and your pensions. Diversify with gold and silver today. We know banks are failing and the BRICS nations divesting from the American dollar worldwide. Call now, 888-617-7994. Call today. Do not delay. Ask how you can eliminate the IRA fees permanently for life. RSBNforthegold.com. And Scott Chenet and company, they will help you to find what works well for your portfolio. Folio. It's a personalized touch in a bull market. Monetary Gold, the best in the business. RSBN4thegold.com as your go-to live desk. And tomorrow, really back at it as your rally network in so many different ways. Support us right here at Right Side Broadcasting Network. RSBnetwork.com/donate or text RSBN to 801-801. You can send a check or money order as well. 1550 Opelika Road, Suite 6, Box 344. The loveliest village on the plains. It's Auburn, Alabama. 36830-1550 Opelika Road, Suite 6, Box 344. Auburn, Alabama, 36830. We'd be honored to be part of your Christmas giving if you're able to do that as part of your plans. Thank you so much, as we are the counterculture in the new media, bringing you everything, unbridled access to your government, the full speeches, the full press conferences, all of the fun, the sweat and the tears involved in governing this great nation of ours, the 45th and 47th President of the United States, the 50th Vice President, the 119th Congress, as this is sure to be a star-studded patriotic battle between capitalism and communism, common sense and lunacy next year, the 2026 midterms, and we will bring it right to you in real time as President Trump to host a roundtable event at 2 o'clock Eastern. We're honored to bring you all of the latest from the Trump White House, inside and outside of the Beltway, with cut number 7, SCOTUS and tariffs, that big decision forthcoming in the near future. And President Trump's been very clear on this, while the United States has other methods of charging tariffs against foreign countries, many of whom for years have taken advantage of our nation. The current method of tariffing before the United States Supreme Court is far more direct, less cumbersome, and much faster. All ingredients necessary for a strong and decisive national security result: speed, power, and certainly at all times important factions in getting the job done, or important factors getting the job done, lasting and victorious manner. Now, I have settled 8 wars in 10 months because of all of the rights clearly given to the President of the United States. If countries did not think these rights existed, they would not have said so loud and clear. Thank you for your attention to this matter. So the President very vocal on this to bring down the debt, now at $38 trillion, and it's something that is quite frightening to look at as we look at the future of the country. In case you missed it, President Trump and First Lady Melania Trump on the red carpet the other night for these Kennedy Center Awards, again honoring the great band Kiss. The king, I'm sure that the left is criticized. I thought we had no kings, is what they're saying. George Strait of country music fame to Broadway's very own Michael Crawford, the Phantom of the Opera, the original, and the disco queen herself, Gloria Gaynor, and Sly Stallone, the legend known as Rocky and Rambo, and Tulsa King. It's a great new show that's out there. Check that out while you can. I love the group that's together because they inspired me so much in my own journey and the music that I love, but also in my pursuit of my personal American dream. So thank you to those Kennedy Center recipients. Here's a footage of the President and the First Lady walking down the red carpet.
President, Madam President, right here, and then I go to one of the
So fun festivities this weekend, not just football, but also the red carpet of the Kennedy Center, which is new and improved, and roughly in 4 to 5 months, as President Trump has mentioned, will be complete. As we see the cranes there outside the east wing of the White House, prepping for the 9,000 square foot ballroom. That will be a massive compliment to the White House. We look forward to that. It will be nearly double the size of the main executive mansion that you see right there in front of you in the 2 floors there at 5,500 square feet. And of course, there's that underground bunker that not many people get to see. As a command center that, God forbid anything terrible happened, the president could run the country from underneath the White House. So it's quite a complex, and it's a museum, a residence, and where business is conducted by the executive branch in Article 2 of the United States Constitution. We'll see it all here in action at a roundtable event at 2 o'clock Eastern. In the meantime, we'll take a quick commercial break for sponsorships here at your favorite live desk at the right side of history. I'm Robert McNeely. Do not change that dial. We'll see you back in a couple of minutes.
Welcome to Right Side Broadcasting Network, your trusted conservative news outlet. At RSBN, we deliver the truth when the mainstream media falls short. Since 2015, we've proudly broadcasted every single one of President Trump's iconic MAGA rallies, bringing you the excitement and energy live before anyone else. By watching RSBN, you get an unfiltered front row view of the action on the ground. We interview the crowds to give a voice to millions of Americans just like you. We show you President Trump's speeches in their entirety, free from interruptions and censorship. We cover the stories that matter to you with the integrity and passion you deserve. Thank you for choosing RSBN as your home for America First News. Together, we stand strong, united, and informed. So join us and be part of the right side of history.
Hey y'all, it's Silk from Diamond and Silk Chit Chat Live. Look, don't forget to watch my show right here at Right Side Broadcasting Network, and I want you to support Right Side Broadcasting Network. It's imperative that you do so, okay? Bye-bye.
allfamilypharmacy.com/RSBN. You can scan that QR code now, RSBN10. That is the code, easy to remember, for 10% off. This is ivermectin, hydrochloroquine, antibiotics that will save you and yours from bacterial and viral infections, NAD+, and much, much more. 200 essential medications and emergency medical kits, the meds you trust delivered to your door. And welcome back to Right Side Broadcasting Network. Again, the top of the hour, President Trump to host a roundtable at 2 o'clock Eastern. So we look forward to having you stay on and join us for that. We're covering the latest from the Trump White House as gas prices plunge to a new multi-year low, and they are trending lower and lower. The nationwide average for regular gas at its lowest level in 1,681 days. And that's according to Gas Buddy, where the average gas prices have dipped below $3 per gallon in 37 states, below $2.75 per gallon in 22 states, and below $2.50 per gallon in 5 states. And we're one of the fortunate ones right here that hovers there in the Yellowhammer state of Alabama. In fact, Americans can even find gas below $2 per gallon at some stations in at least 4 states, with prices as low as $1.69 per gallon in that granite state of Colorado out west. So under the Biden administration, gas prices were the highest they had ever been, even after he drained our strategic reserves to artificially low levels and decreased prices. So far in President Trump's second term, Americans can track to spend the lowest amount of their disposable income on gas in the last 2 decades amid the Trump administration's pursuit of American energy dominance. It's part of an emergency trend of strong economic news backed up by data. In just the past week alone, Americans saw the national median rent fall for the 4th straight month. Weekly jobless claims plummet to a 3-year low. Mortgage rates near their lowest level in 1 year, and consumer sentiment spike. That's all good news for American consumers and much more progress on the way. After 4 years of Biden's reckless spending, open borders, and anti-American policies that drove inflation through the roof and crushed working families, the momentum is now unmistakably in the right direction for the American people. And the Trump administration will stop at nothing to make sure Americans feel relief. And that is according to the White House there. So we'll have President Trump really making a focus on domestic policy, not only today, but tomorrow and on the coming midterm elections, 2026. Thank you to Kalshi.com/RSBN, where you can bet on trade on just about anything, including the Fed decision. Will it come in December? And do you think it will cut around 25%, stay at the same rate? We know too late Jerome Powell playing games with the country and the administration. And will Georgia be the college football champions come January 19th? Well, they have to get through Indiana or Ohio State. Well, there's 12 teams competing for this, and I'd love to get your take on what happened with the selection process. Were they fair to Notre Dame? Should Notre Dame have taken a bowl game? So much happening since Saturday's conference championship. Scan that QR code there now, Kalshi.com/RSBN. AngelPaste.com will protect you in the meantime with their Vitamin B Original Miracle Cream, non-GMO, non-chemical, a wonderful lotion any time of the year, but especially now with the cold weather and the dry temperatures that come on in. Protect your skin during this winter Christmas season. The orange option, vitamin C infused, non-GMO, no chemicals as well, and a natural facial spray to paint the town red for that first date or that 50th wedding anniversary and everything in between. Angel Paste has you covered. They're Christian owned. They are based in the Lone Star State of Texas, right off that Gulf of America. Experience the miracle that is angelpaste.com. And speaking of gut health, covepure.com/RSBN. There's so much I can say about this wonderful Clearwave technology-driven machine that's no larger than a coffee maker at home. You can instantly change the temperature from cold to warm to hot, and especially those tea drinkers, a great thing to use so you don't have to wait for your tea to steep, especially if you're in a hurry. You can see that there, how quickly the temperature changes. So whatever temperature water you want, right at your fingertips. Now, JAMA Pediatrics doing a study that if people are drinking from the tap regularly, especially students and young ones, they can lose up to 2 points or more in their IQ in a short period of time. We know the lead poisoning that happened from Flint, Michigan, and Democrat-run cities that fail at securing their infrastructure. Lead poisoning can lead to brain damage, to kidney failure, liver problems, and stomach lining gastrointestinal issues. You don't want that. And we now know that fluoride, pesticides, agricultural runoff, hormone-disrupting blockers are in the tap water. So get this Clearwave technology that removes 99.9% of the impurities in your drinking water with a holiday sale unlike any other. $250 off, covepure.com/RSBN. In addition to that, if you have friends or family who are renting, you don't need tubes or a plumber to come over and drill holes in your wall to install this. It's all right there is what you see is what you get with a reverse osmosis that needs to be changed every so often, roughly recommended at 3 months or so. Right there for you. Just like a coffee maker, very easy, almost no assembly required. Drink pure, live pure. It's covepure.com/RSBN. Thank you for sponsoring us on the right side of history as we await President Trump just really moments from now. With so much going on in the news, the Trump administration unveiling $12 billion in aid for farmers hit hard by tariffs while investigating soaring beef prices. Also, again, Jasmine Crockett, the congresswoman from Texas, expected to announce a U.S. Senate bid. So we'll watch that very closely as Indiana's maps might change, going to the Senate for approval, ultimately to Governor Mike Braun's desk for a signature. And 3 days of talks in Miami, President Trump expressing frustration with Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky and has at least alluded to between Putin and Zelensky, he's willing to walk away if they cannot settle this terrible war. And ideally, that does happen to save the lives of countless people. We have extended access and viewing a video playback in case you missed it from the Kennedy Center honors on the red carpet just the other night on Saturday, and the president taking some questions from the White House press pool.
Mr. President, right here, if you don't mind. Sir, this is one of the most prestigious nights in American arts, and you are hosting, I understand tonight, the first president to do that. What does this mean to you personally, also as the chairman of the Kennedy Center?
Well, it's very exciting being chairman, but maybe more importantly, saving this incredible structure and building and concept and it's done so well. You know, we've raised a tremendous amount of money tonight for the building itself and for charities overall, and we're really happy. It's been I mean, you see the way it's been received. It's been like it's never been before. And this building, this beautiful building, is going to be brought back to life. We've already started, and it'll be better than it was from day one.
Do you think tonight's honors represent storytelling of American legends? What do these honorees represent to you tonight here at the Kennedy Center?
Well, we have great honorees. This is a group that really is unique. I think it's one of the, I mean, look, over the years I've been watching, and you've had some wonderful honorees, but I think this is really very much unparalleled. So we're going to see how it turns out. I think it's going to be a great evening.
And First Lady Melania, can I ask you about your upcoming video? Can you tell us anything about that, your film?
My film will be out on January 30th, so I'm looking forward to it, and I hope people will come and see it. It will be 20 days in my busy life before inauguration.
We look forward to seeing that. And what does tonight mean to you? You have celebrated the arts and design as part of your journey. Tell us what tonight means to you here at the Kennedy
Well, it
Center.
really means we're bringing back the Capitol, Washington, D.C. If you look back a year ago, it was a very unsafe place. Beautiful, but unsafe. But it wasn't properly kept. It was not in good condition. Now it's in very good condition. And as you know, crime has been brought down to a level that nobody's ever seen here before. So we're very proud of that. Thank you very much.
Do you think, Mr. President,
what do you think of the
will it
Netflix
eventually
Warner
be
Brothers
named the
deal?
Trump Kennedy Center, Mr. President? Do you think?
Say it.
Do you think the center will eventually be named the Trump Kennedy
I
Center?
don't know. I hear that, but I don't know. That's not up to me. That's up to the board. The board makes that decision. We have a very prestigious board. If you look at the names, I don't think there's a board like it. So that would be up to the board. Thank you.
Are you willing to take a foreign policy question?
Say it.
Foreign policy question?
Well, I think maybe not tonight.
Russia, Ukraine?
Well, this is about the Kennedy Center.
Okay.
Thank you.
What about Netflix and Warner Brothers?
Well, that's got to go through a process, and we'll see what happens. Netflix is a great company. They've done a phenomenal job. Ted is a fantastic man. I have a lot of respect for him, but it's a lot of market share. So we'll have to see what happens.
President Trump, who's on your list for next year's Kennedy Center Honors event?
I looked at a list today. I can't tell you that yet, but a lot of people want to be on my list. You'd like to be on the list.
I don't know about that, but I have a question for you, Mr. President. How have you prepared to host tonight?
Well, maybe I haven't prepared. Maybe you want to be a little bit loose. If you look at the great hosts, Johnny Carson, Bob Hope, those are the greats. If you look at the not-so-greats, like Jimmy Kimmel, he was just terrible. But no, I think you want to be just loose and not a lot to prepare for, really. You know what you have to be? You have to be yourself.
I've been asking your cabinet tonight, is this going to be more Johnny Carson or Don Rickles?
Well, Don, I knew them both, and they were both great guys and friends of mine. Both difficult, very difficult, but great. I mean, I was really very close to both of them. You can't compare them; they were very different.
Why did you want?
But Johnny Carson for hosting was top of the line.
President Trump, Jesse Waters has a question for you. What was your favorite moment of 2025? It was a big year.
I think when Jesse Waters interviewed me. It was such a phenomenal interview. He's a great guy, and you're a great guy. You're doing a very good job out there. I'm proud of you.
Thank you so much, President Trump. Who is on your naughty list this year?
Oh, that's a long list. I better not tell you it's not a problem out there in the world. No, we have a pretty big naughty list, but our country is doing well. We're the hottest country anywhere in the world right now. And a year ago, we were a dead country. We were a dead country that was laughed at all over the world. We're the hottest country in the world.
What would be the implications?
And Jesse Waters is terrific.
What are you getting the first lady?
What would be the implications, Mr. President, of the Supreme Court overturning your authority on the tariffs, the emergency authority? What would be the implications for the economy and for the country?
Well, we have a right to go a different form of tariffs. We have a right to go licensing. We have a right to go other ways. But the form of tariffing, as we call it, the current form of tariffing that's before the court, gives us great national security, more than anything else, because it allows the president to act quickly and effectively, swiftly, and make a decision. And as you know, I ended 8 wars. We're trying to end a 9th, and we thought this would be maybe one of the easier ones. We just did Rwanda and Congo. And that was going on for 30 years. The Russia-Ukraine, I thought was going to be a little bit easier, but it's not being made easy. It's a very tough war, very nasty. 27,000 people died last month. It's mostly soldiers. I will say that I really think this is really a night of joy tonight because of what's happening with this building. It's going to be fantastic when you see the end product. It's going to be better than it was new, and I think we'll celebrate that. But I will say that our country is doing really well.
Some Republicans have expressed concern about using the tariffs, the revenue for a dividend, saying we should be paying down the national debt.
Well, we will.
What's
I
your
agree
thought
with them on that, but I also think that, we're making so much money with tariffs that we'll also be able to make a nice dividend to middle-income people. We're talking about middle-income and lower-income people. We're not talking about dividends to rich people. But there's so much money being made from the tariffs, and countries that were taking advantage of us for many, many years are not taking advantage of us anymore. We're taking in tremendous amounts of money from countries that we were losing lots of money to. And you know what? They're okay with it. They're not complaining. They're not complaining about the tariffs. They'd rather not have them, but they're not saying there's anything wrong. And the big thing is, in the court, we have tremendous flexibility with the current system. It's unbelievable for national security. I've ended 8 wars, largely because of trade and because of tariffs. If we go the other tariff route, and there are other routes we can go, but it won't give you the same pure national security as this one. This one is swift and very powerful.
Mr. President, what's the next step in Russia-Ukraine talks? What's your next step in Russia-Ukraine talks after last week's negotiations?
So we've been speaking to President Putin, and we've been speaking to Ukrainian leaders, including Zelensky, President Zelensky. And I have to say that I'm a little bit disappointed that President Zelensky hasn't yet read the proposal. That was as of a few hours ago. His people love it, but he hasn't. Russia's fine with it. Russia, I guess, would rather have the whole country when you think of it. But Russia is, I believe, fine with it, but I'm not sure that Zelensky's fine with it. His people love it, but he hasn't read it. So someday you'll explain that one to me, Jeff.
I don't have an explanation, sir. What's the next step in that?
Raymond, thank you very much. Good job you're doing. Say hello.
Thank you. What would you like to see Sylvester Stallone do as a Hollywood ambassador in Hollywood?
He is automatic. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, he is one of the ambassadors, as you know. And he's already been doing that. Look, all he has to do is be himself. If Sly is himself, that's all he can be. If he tries to be somebody else, it wouldn't be good. He's a great guy. He's done a fantastic job, and he really deserves this honor. It's something he's wanted for years. And this is bigger than it's ever been. I mean, I don't want to say why. I refuse to say why. But you take a look at this line. Last year, if you look at this line, it was not this.
Mr. President,
it was a different thing.
Why are you and the First Lady expending so much time, so much energy in revivifying and remaking the Kennedy Center?
It's not the Kennedys. We are. Look, Bobby Jr. is doing a fantastic job. It's not the Kennedys. It's our country. We're bringing our country back, and we're bringing D.C. back, Washington, D.C. We're bringing our capital. It's a safe place now.
No, I mean the Kennedy Center, the center itself. Why are you so focused on revivifying?
Because it could never be built again. It's got 3 massive places, call them. You have different stages, dance, theater, and you have a place that we're going to be in tonight that there's really nothing like it in the country. And if this disappeared, you'd never be able to build it again. And I'm able to save it because that's what I used to do for a living, really, is, well, maybe better than anybody else. I could take something and spend less money than other people and make it better than anybody else could. The Kennedy Center has a chance to be unbelievable. And, I mentioned yesterday something very important, sound. It's like sometimes you could say, like people, you either have it or you don't. Great sound in this building. A lot of times, and the Lincoln Center saga, they've rebuilt one building, most important building, they rebuilt it 4 times, and they've never been able to produce really great sound. The sound in the Kennedy Center has been incredible from day one. Call it luck or talent. Probably luck. There's a lot of luck involved. The great sound buildings, the greatest in the world, are the old opera houses built in the 17 and 1800s in Europe. And they had one thing that was in common, lots of marble. And they didn't have sound engineers. They had lots of marble. And this has got great sound. Even right here in the hallway, the sound is fantastic. Thank you very much, Raymond.
Madam First Lady, Mr.
President Trump, do you want...
I'm just curious to know how they have impacted your own personal enjoyment of art.
Well, are you talking about the five honorees and the group and the five honorees? They are outstanding people. I had to approve them all. And every one of them, very different. I said last night, totally different audience, but when you add them up, they're 100% of our country and a big percentage of the world. So we have great honorees. It's going to be a lot of fun. You're going to have a to tonight.
Mr. President, we know that you love the arts. Could you imagine,
Mr. President, now we know that you've hosted before, The Apprentice, for many years. Could you imagine next year maybe you're not hosting, but maybe you receiving a Kennedy Center honor?
That's an interesting one. I haven't looked at that. Yeah, I think I'm going to nominate myself for next year.
Mr. President, every day you have such a big job being the president. Why was it important for you to actually host the show tonight, and how much time did you spend getting ready for it?
Well, it wasn't important for me other than if I get much higher ratings, if it's a more successful show, then I'm contributing. I get nothing. I don't make money with it. I don't do anything. It's a little bit of work, not a lot of work. I look forward to doing it, but the network said, would it be possible to get the president to host? And I love the concept of no president has ever hosted the Kennedy Center honorees. And it's very important that this building be great and that this building remain really, I saved the building. We raised a lot of money tonight, tremendous record numbers of dollars, a lot of money. And we've raised over $100 million over the last very short period of time. That's a lot of money. And that money goes into the rejuvenation and the rebuilding of the building. And a lot of it's already taken place. A lot of the things that you don't see have already taken place.
Mr. President, and you're right, as you're saving the building, when will locals who come to the Kennedy Center, who live here, when will we start to see all of the changes? And do you have a timeline for when this will all be wrapped up?
Over the next 4 or 5 months, we're going to have it very well. So you see the outside, the columns, they're beautiful. They had a fake gold color, and now they're beautiful, gleaming white. And everyone's talking about that. It sounds like not much of a change. It's a massive change. The white against the white marble. The marble is being rejuvenated. They're great pieces of marble, but they've been let go and they've been tired. And I always say you can take a 100th of an inch off of a piece of marble and you have a brand new piece of marble, but nobody does that. It's not an easy process. But if you look on the outside of the building, people see already a very big difference.
Is the First Lady involved in the style and the change that's happening here?
Yeah, she's got great taste. I'll ask her opinion. She liked the white as opposed to the fake gold. But they had the fake gold. One thing about gold, you can never imitate real gold. They've tried to do it for years. Gold paint. Gold paint never works.
Mr. President,
you got to go for the real 24-karat gold. Yes.
Yes, sir. Is there another president other than yourself who you think would have done a good job hosting the Kennedy Center honors?
Hosting, yes. Building, no.
Mr. President,
you have a couple that would have done. Politicians.
Mr. President,
Very good on their feet, most of them.
Could you name one?
I would say the last one wouldn't have done too well hosting. But we've had some great politicians. Excuse me, John F. Kennedy would have done a very good job hosting. But building, no. I will build better than anybody. I build better than anybody. Thank you.
Mr. President, $23 million was made tonight, nearly doubling. $23 million was made tonight, nearly doubling last year.
Yeah.
Why do you think that is?
Maybe we had something to do with it. I don't know. We doubled up last year. It's really much more than that because we've done over 100, not including tonight. We've done over $100 million already. And those are numbers that the Kennedy Center has never seen before. It's doing really well. Thank you for that question.
How is this innovation and the big, beautiful ballroom for the White House, how is this tied into...
You've done so much for American greatness. Talk to the next generation about how important the values are that you're celebrating tonight are to American greatness. Things like self-discipline, creativity, talent, those things.
Well, the young generation, I think, is going to grow up strong. We have a very different country than we had a year ago. A year ago, we had a country that was in big trouble. Now we have a country that's the talk of the world, and everybody's respecting us again, and young people are respecting us again, too. I won the young vote. The Republicans never win the young vote. I won it easily, and I want to thank Charlie, and I want to thank TikTok, and there are a lot of reasons for it, but there's never been a Republican who won the young vote, and I won the very young vote. So that's a good sign.
Mr. President, why did you select Kiss, Mr. President? Why did you select Kiss for the honor this evening? Do you have a favorite Kiss song?
Well, I like them as people. I've listened to their music over the years. They are characters, too. They really are. I don't know if you saw last night the speeches. They were great. They really made some great speeches last night. And they're very popular. A lot of people, write in and ask us to select. So, think of it. Sylvester Stallone was not picked for any of this stuff. He's one of the greatest movie stars of all time, based on revenue, based on, Rocky and Rambo and the numbers. No, I doubt. Maybe there's a couple of stars that have done something equal, but really there's nothing like it. So we're going to have a very exciting night. But Kiss is terrific.
Mr. President, two questions. What are you looking forward to most about hosting tonight? And number two, Secretary Duffy says you are the master of the playlist out on the Rose Garden Club. What's your favorite song to listen to on the Rose Garden Club?
Well, I have so many different songs. And look, Lee Greenwood really hit big with that. It was from day one. We put it on the first rally, and we never took it off, and he's great. But I have a lot of favorites, and I can tell you that we both love Elton John, special man, special guy, and he's really talented. We like a lot of different. I like a lot of different songs, a lot of different types of music. I have a good playlist. Great. Thank you. Thank you.
Mr. President, what would you like to see for America 250 here at the Kennedy Center? What would you like to see?
Well, we're going to have a lot of events. One of the things you're going to have here is some of the UFC press. You're going to have the fighters coming over talking about the fights. It's a big deal. The UFC on June 14th. It's going to be June 14th next year. And they're building an arena. The great Dana White's building an arena, and they're going to have 8 or 9 championship fights, the biggest fights they've ever had. Everyone's a championship fight, and everyone's a legendary type of fight. He's actually holding back fights right now for 6 months so he can do it for this, the 250. I think 250 is going to be amazing. I think the arena is going to be 5,000 or 6,000 seats right in front of the front door of the White House, and 100,000 people in the back where they're putting up 8 or 10 very big screens. That's going to be an exciting night. So many people are asking for tickets, the UFC. Thank you.
Mr. President,
you mentioned some of your favorite songs.
I did. I met with Ted. I think he's fantastic. I think he's, in the history of Hollywood, there's really been almost, you could say, nothing like what he's done. You'd go back to Louis B. Mayer, maybe, Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer, MGM. Ted has done an incredible job. I mean, he had a company that was very troubled 7 or 8 years ago, and he took it over, and he's really done a legendary job.
Should they be allowed to buy Warner Brothers? Should Netflix?
Well, that's the question. They have a very big market share. And when they have Warner Brothers, that share goes up a lot. So I don't know. That's going to be for some economists to tell. And I'll be involved in that decision too. They have a very big market share.
Did he make any guarantees to you about the merger if they do merge?
No, not at all. He came up. He was in the Oval Office last week. I have a lot of respect for him. He's a great person, but he's done one of the greatest jobs in the history of movies and other things. He's got a lot of interesting things happening aside from what you're talking about. But it is a big market share. There's no question about it. It could be a problem.
Mr.
Yes.
President, you mentioned some of your favorite songs. In your opinion, what makes a song great?
Well, it's something that has to be soft and soothing to your ear. I like some songs that other people don't like, That's why they have, you ever hear the expression? That's why they have menus in restaurants. We're all different. We all order different things. Otherwise, you just serve one meal and that would be it.
Are you a country music fan?
But I love country music. And we have the king of country music tonight. So that's another one.
President Trump, will you rename the Kennedy Center the Trump Center?
It's not up to me. We have a board of 40 people that are really the most prestigious people in the United States. We have the honorary chairwoman on the board, right? As the First Lady, she's honorary chairwoman. But it's a really prestigious board, and that's up to them. I don't know what they're doing about that.
And can you tell us about rename the Opera House after?
We are saving the Kennedy Center.
And can you tell us how did you choose the nominees today, the winners today?
Yeah, we went through probably 50 different names. We were politicked by a lot of people, some of them the stars themselves. But we went through 50 names and we picked the 5, and we're very happy with it. It's really very different audiences. But as I said, just down the line, They're different audiences, but when you add them up, it's 100% of the public. Thank you.
Are you
Should the Opera House be renamed after Melania?
What did you talk about with Prime Minister Carney and Mexican President Sheinbaum when you were here just a few days earlier?
Mexico and Canada, we met with the, as you know, I mean, it was pretty well, a lot of people were here, right here we met. And the Prime Minister of Canada, President of Mexico, and we spoke for a half hour. Very good, very productive. Talked mostly trade.
Will you restart negotiations with Canada?
Oh, look, I have a great relationship with Canada. They're very tough traders, but I have a very good relationship with the Prime Minister and with Canada.
And you had said you would halt those negotiations earlier after the tariff.
Well, I have halted them.
And so will you restart them?
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, you know, the problem is Canada makes a lot of things that we don't need because we make them also. But we'll work it out. Look, Canada's a special place, and they really are good at ice hockey, aren't they?
Mr. President, what is more difficult, Mr. President, hosting the Kennedy Center honors or preparing for the State of the Union?
Well, could I answer that question after the show's over?
If you give it to me, absolutely.
I'll give
Mr.
it to you
President.
after the show's
Thanks.
over. I mean,
What's more difficult?
This is a little bit different.
Yeah.
But, you know, I hosted The Apprentice when it was the #1 show on television. We did 42.5 million people that night. It was a little different television than it is today.
What are
more
you-
people watching in those days?
What are you expecting, Mr. President, in terms of ratings for this year's Kennedy Center
I think
honors?
it'll do great. I think it's going to do great. Ratings are complicated now because you have streaming added on and everything else, but I think it'll do very big. I mean, just look. I mean, just based on what you see right here. If you came here last year, you saw a line that was about 1/10 this size. You weren't even here last year, right?
I was here. Mr. President, how do you prepare for hosting this year's Kennedy Center honors? You have so much on your plate. Where do you make the
I have
time?
a lot on my plate, and I didn't really prepare very much. I read a little bit. I have a good memory, so I can remember things, which is very fortunate. But I want to just be myself. So you have to be yourself. Johnny Carson, he was himself. Thank you, everybody.
During the first time you stayed away.
From politicization, do you think the Kennedy Center is now better serving all Americans?
I think it is. I think it's been really enhanced very greatly over the last 10 months, meaning since we've been here. And we're making it great. We're going to make it physically great as a building, so you won't even believe how beautiful it'll be. And we saved the Kennedy Center. That's a big thing. Thank you.
So during your first time you stayed away from the awards.
And President Trump, First Lady Melania Trump at his side on that red carpet over the weekend. That was Sunday night at the Kennedy Center Honors. The first president of the United States to host, to MC this legendary gathering of artists who have really shaped the country, and perhaps none more than the group as President Trump put together along with the chair of the board and the executive director, Mr. Rick Grenell, a star-studded evening to celebrate, especially talking about that Netflix merger to gobble up Warner Brothers, and Paramount actually making a bidding war happen there. So we'll watch that story closely as President Trump knows a thing or two about entertainment. Thank you to allfamilypharmacy.com/RSBN. As this is the most cherished time of year, we gather with family and friends and celebrate our faith and the reason for the season. But the cold and flu, just around that corner. So be prepared and stock up on Tamiflu, ivermectin, antibiotics, antivirals, hydrochloroquine, NAD+, and methylene blue. In fact, over 300 plus essential medications and emergency medical kits. And you can have it ready to go in your medicine cabinets or even travel with them as you take plane, train, and automobile to your loved ones. allfamilypharmacy.com/RSBN. Code RSBN10 for 10% off now. Take advantage of these life-saving opportunities. And when your health is in order, make sure your wealth is in order with monetary gold, preservation, securities, retirement, pensions, everything you worked hard for. Grab that complimentary presidential gold guide today. 888-617-7994. That's how you can eliminate the annual IRA fees for life. RSBN4thegold.com. The BRICS nations buying up gold and silver, tangible metals that have stood the test of time. In addition to that, the dollar losing 40% of its value in the last 2 decades. So don't allow that to happen to you and your household. It's RSBN4thegold.com. Also, Venice.ai/RSBN, a smart way to protect yourself online and through your cell phone, available on the App Store and Google Play. 20% off with code RSBN, our latest sponsor here. Venice.ai/RSBN. Protect your text, your emails, even your phone calls with artificial intelligence through Venice.ai/RSBN. 20% off now with code RSBN at 2 o'clock. We anticipate a roundtable that the President of the United States is hosting. In the meantime, we have a video playback of Secretary of State Marco Rubio meeting with the UK Prime. We actually do not have that available at the moment, but when we do, we could bring you that there, as, again, the president will be hosting a roundtable just moments from now. And those Kennedy Center Awards, in case you missed them, highlighting some really extraordinary people, from the band Kiss to the king of country, George Strait, Sly Stallone, the Tulsa King, who happened to be Rocky and Rambo, Michael Crawford, the Phantom of the Opera, and the Queen of Disco, Gloria Gaynor herself. Again, when you combine all of them, as President Trump said, you get 100% of the country and even some of the world, as some of them started their journeys elsewhere but have really contributed to the American story in arts and entertainment, perhaps greater than anyone else. It's people who have left their mark on this nation. As we remember the date, which will live in infamy, 84 years ago today on December 8th, President Franklin Delano Roosevelt addressing a joint session of Congress, asking for a declaration of war against the Empire of Japan after the attacks on Pearl Harbor. As Admiral Chester W. Nimitz once said, they fought together as brothers in arms. They died together, and now they sleep side by side. To them, we have a solemn obligation. And to visit that Pearl Harbor is really extraordinary, to see the USS Arizona, especially underneath that harbor, still producing oil after all these years. And 12 surviving members from that day are still with us. Unfortunately, they were not able to make the trip back for the ceremony due to old age. But if you have a chance to speak to a World War II vet, it's quite a privilege. Not many of them with us quite anymore. They were the greatest generation, and the best way to honor them is to live lives of honor as they did, defending their nation against tyranny and ultimately taking the fight to the enemy against fascism and later communism. And in so many ways, we're fighting those evil ideologies in the present day. But on the 84th anniversary of the attacks yesterday, just to think about, at 7:55 in the morning that Sunday, a Japanese force of 183 airplanes attacked the United States military and naval facilities on Oahu in the Hawaiian Islands without warning, and for 30 nonstop minutes, dive bombers, level bombers, and torpedo planes struck airfields and naval vessels. And after a 15-minute lull, a second wave of 170 planes launching another attack at 8:40 in the morning that lasted 1 hour. Casualties to United States service personnel were close to 2,400, including 960 missing and over 1,200 wounded, nearly 1,300 service members wounded in that. Japanese aircraft destroying 151 United States planes on the ground and damaging all 8 U.S. battleships at anchor in Pearl Harbor, only at a cost of 28 airplanes shot down. The Japanese struck a major blow to the American fleet in the Pacific that day. Nearly 20 American naval vessels and over 300 aircraft attacked in the terrible moment. It actually would have been much worse had it not been Sunday. Many of the vessels were taken for repair and for weekend vacation, and some of the base actually empty as a result of it being on a Sunday. But it's quite a sight to see if you have a chance to visit Hawaii and remember those brave Americans who sacrificed so much and lives were cut short, that ultimately brought us into the conflict that was World War II 84 years ago yesterday. As President Trump to participate in a roundtable just moments from now. And Mr. Director, is that we will toss it there to the White House right now.
Foreign Secretary, do you trust the Americans on Ukraine?
Thank you.
The Secretary of State Marco Rubio with the UK Foreign Minister there at the Department of State, doing an extraordinary job. They've solved 8 wars over the course of 10 months. And God willing, Russia and Ukraine will come to an end very soon. 2 very hard-headed leaders, to say it politely, but this administration committed to peace, as we saw last week with the official signings of the Democratic Republic of the Congo and the Republic of Rwanda, in the bloodiest conflict since that of World War II, one in which was not covered heavily over the last several decades and generations of American press, but needless to say, many people suffering at the hands of tribalism and warfare on the African continent, which is, God willing, getting better in certain areas, but especially with the leadership of this administration. As Secretary of State Rubio has said on countless times, if it is not to the positive of the United States foreign policy and our interests on the domestic front and the foreign front, then it won't be something that Department of State will get itself involved with. So it's an America First agenda that you put back into office just last year, constitutional governance at its highest form. We'll take a quick commercial break for sponsorships. You're on the right side of history. Stick with us as we await President Trump to participate in a roundtable moments from now.
Welcome to Right Side Broadcasting Network, your trusted conservative news outlet. At RSBN, we deliver the truth when the mainstream media falls short. Since 2015, we've proudly broadcasted every single one of President Trump's iconic MAGA rallies, bringing you the excitement and energy live before anyone else. By watching RSBN, you get an unfiltered front row view of the action on the ground. We interview the crowds to give a voice to millions of Americans just like you. We show you President Trump's speeches in their entirety, free from interruptions and censorship. We cover the stories that matter to you with the integrity and passion you deserve. Thank you for choosing RSBN as your home for America First News. Together, we stand strong, united, and informed. So join us and be part of the right side of history.
Every once in a while, something big happens. Something that changes everything. And now, in a defining moment for crypto, Trump Media Group and Crypto.com are joining forces to acquire up to $6.4 billion of CRO, launching America's first ever CRO treasury, empowering the Kronos blockchain. This is more than a partnership. It's the future of finance built in America. For more, visit Crypto.com, where millions trade CRO every day.
Tired of being told no by your doctor, your pharmacy, or worse, your insurance company? You're not alone. Millions of Americans are waking up to a broken healthcare system. That's why more and more people are turning to All Family Pharmacy. We believe in medical freedom. We deliver the prescription and the medication, all from licensed U.S. doctors and pharmacists, from ivermectin and trusted antibiotics to maintenance medications, even NAD+, the revolutionary anti-aging supplement. Use code RSBN10 at checkout for 10% off your first order.
Hey y'all, it's Silk from Diamond and Silk Chit Chat Live. Look, don't forget to watch my show right here at Right Side Broadcasting Network, and I want you to support Right Side Broadcasting Network. It's imperative that you do so, okay? Bye-bye.
And some breaking news. It is being reported that Alina Habba, the acting U.S. attorney in the Trump administration and special attorney to the United States Attorney General, is resigning. Alina Habba resigning and putting out a statement just moments ago. For the past 5 years, I fought for justice on behalf of the American people. And in my tenure under our great Attorney General Pam Bondi and Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche, we made New Jersey safer. Camden had its first murder-free summer in 50 years. We drove down crime, took violent offenders off the streets, caught terrorists, and put away child predators. While I was focused on delivering real results, judges in my state took advantage of a flawed blue slip tradition and became weapons for the politicized left. Now, for months, these judges stopped conducting trials and entering sentences, leaving violent criminals on the streets. They joined New Jersey senators who care more about fighting President Trump than the well-being of residents which they serve. For 4 years now, I have fought against lawfare aimed at President Trump and against politics infecting our justice system. And what these obstructionists misunderstood is that my loyalty is not to politics, a title, or a zip code. It is to this great country. As a result of the third court's ruling and to protect the stability and integrity of the office which I love, I have decided to step down in my role as the U.S. Attorney for the District of New Jersey. But do not mistake compliance for surrender. This decision will not weaken the Justice Department. It will not weaken me. My fight will now stretch across the country as we wait for further review of the court's ruling. I will continue to serve the Department of Justice as the senior advisor to the Attorney General for United States attorneys. Make no mistake, you could take this girl out of New Jersey, but you cannot take New Jersey out of the girl. So that from Alina Habba announcing her resignation. And that's something to watch out for, perhaps in your midterms, in your jurisdiction, in your state, in your locality. Many times referendums are on these non-law-abiding judges who take politics and they usurp the authority of the executive branch of the United States. It's become very clear now in this lawfare that has been consistently launched against President Trump and his family for the last decade. Eric Trump himself, the vice president of the Trump Organization, has had countless lawsuits and subpoenas against him, and they have, for lack of a better term, been harassed nonstop as a family, all in order to help serve this great country. And their businesses to their own personal liability and interest questioned. I mean, it's been ridiculous what's been thrown at the Trump family, and much of that now they are being proved correct as we see some of these just simply thrown out, like we saw in Fulton County, Georgia, with Fani Willis and those ridiculous attacks on the president and claims that he was trying to steal an election, et cetera, et cetera. We know the narrative of Russia, the hoax, and the consistent lawfare against this president. So that happening today. Thank you to mypillow.com/RSBN. Merry Christmas to you and yours. Save up to 80% this holiday season. As you continue your shopping and stocking stuffers, consider mypillow.com/RSBN. Support Mike Lindell and Right Side Broadcasting Network. Over 2,000 different items at the site. And the master marketer himself with everything made in America in the great state of Minnesota. President Trump mentioning that about Mike at the 100 Days celebration outside of Detroit, Michigan in late April. Use promo code RSBN, mypillow.com/RSBN, code RSBN. Easy to remember for 80% on savings. And Mike Lindell has a big announcement come Thursday. Be sure to watch for more. If you like what you see, your go-to live desk, your go-to rally network. Tomorrow, a kickoff of really a domestic tour and policies that will make America great again. President Trump in Mount Pocono, Pennsylvania, the Commonwealth, home of Matthew Alvarez. He'll be there in the field covering all of the action for us tomorrow. Support us right here at Right Side Broadcasting Network, rsbnetwork.com/donate, or text RSBN to 801-801. You can also send a check or money order to 1550 Opelika Road, Suite 6, Box 344, the loveliest village on the plains, Auburn, Alabama 36830. That is 1550 1550 Opelika Road, Suite 6, Box 344, Auburn, Alabama 36830. And great sights and sounds from last year's campaign trail, which will reconvene with the midterms coming up just weeks away in some cases. For those of you with early primaries, you know, Illinois has one on St. Patrick's Day, March 17th. That is coming up right around the corner. And with that, God willing, some warmer temperatures, as it's cold down here in the loveliest village on the plains. And I know in your neck of the woods, probably not much better. Feedback at rsbn.tv if you want to talk about it. And I especially would like your feedback on a couple of things about Christmas traditions, your favorite Christmas movies as we celebrate the season, but also what do you think about the college football playoffs that all being decided this weekend with conference championships and that huge upset, Indiana over Ohio State, the Hoosiers taking down the Buckeyes. Wow, what a game that was in the crossroads of America, with some more victories, with a new map that potentially will be signed by Governor Mike Braun. Has to go through the Indiana Senate, but we see a lot of those changes from the Tar Heel State in North Carolina, again, Indiana, the crossroads of America, down to the Lone Star State, where Supreme Court of the United States ruling last week that the maps stand, and therefore Jasmine Crockett is without her traditional district. She's going to likely run for the United States Senate. That should be an entertaining race next year. So we'll watch all of that as President Trump willing to walk away from Russia and Ukraine, expressing frustration with Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky. But President Putin hasn't been much better either in these continued ongoing peace talks. Secretary of State Marco Rubio hosting the UK foreign minister today at the Department of State, and this will be on the topic of mind. Tomorrow is a Miami mayoral election. We might have the opportunity to speak to the Trump-endorsed candidate before that, but in these last few hours, very, very busy speaking to the campaign, though, and we'll keep you abreast of that if we get a few moments for what will be a test of the 2026 midterms that are really underway now. Also, Representative Jim Clyburn of South Carolina stating that he backs Michelle Obama in the opinion that the United States is not ready for a female president. Another rather bizarre comment from the former First Lady. And also President Trump stating a lack of loyalty from Henry Cuellar, who will continue to run as a Democrat after the pardon last week, someone whose family was targeted by far-left Democrats because he's always been a pro-security or border security Democrat, his district reaching from San Antonio all the way down to that border. And we saw some of those differences on those congressional districts that touched the Texas-Mexican border really swing to the right more than ever before as a result of border security. So perhaps no one else wants it more than Mexican Americans, especially along that border, wanting border security happening for the United States. And in turn, the Trump administration saving 62,000 children, migrant children rescued by the Trump administration since taking office. Borders are Tom Homan stating, President Trump committed on day one that we would do everything we can to find every one of these children. Many are in sex trafficking. Many are in forced labor camps. Many are being abused. President Trump is proving why he's the best president in my lifetime. And if you're on the ground, our thoughts and prayers with all of you, whether it be ICE to DHS, FBI, state and local forces who are seeing what could be the worst in humanity sometimes, but your very presence in these cities, on the border, you are truly making America safe again, as we had some sad reports, another stabbing by an illegal migrant in Charlotte, North Carolina. President Trump taking it with Cut 4, Mr. Producer, to social media and True Social specifically with this stabbing. What is going on in Charlotte? Democrats are destroying it like everything else, piece by piece. Signed right there by President Trump specifically. On a lighter note, in case you missed it with cut number 8, Mr. Producer, President Trump drew the Group D for the FIFA World Cup, which will also be next year in 2026. And we can replay that for you right now.
President Trump, up to you. Don't forget to mingle, to mix.
I think I know what this is going to be now.
Everything.
But let's see.
Are you sure? Are you sure this is the ball? You can still change it if you want.
Does he know something that I don't know? Let's give it a shot, John.
Let's give it a shot. Let's give it a shot. I agree. Okay.
This is shocking.
United States of America. Excellent. Group D1. Can I ask all the three of you to lift like this on your chest, in front of your chest like this? Yeah, the name of the country. We'll give a nice photo. Excellent.
And moments before that happening, President Sheinbaum of Mexico and Prime Minister Carney of Canada drawing their respective nations at the Kennedy Center in Washington, D.C. So in jest, President Trump, of course, saying, I think I know how this is going, because the chances of all three pulling their home countries would be unlikely unless it was a rigged system. But it will be very fun to watch as the world comes together in North America with sites spanning from Los Angeles, California, the site of the 2028 Summer Olympics, to Atlanta, Georgia, all the way up to the Garden State of New Jersey and many other locations throughout North America to see some of the world's best soccer, otherwise known as football, to enjoy a competition that is focused on world peace. With that inaugural, a couple of firsts, once again for this president who is the king of firsts. Perhaps the left will have an issue with that terminology, but President Trump receiving the inaugural Peace Prize from FIFA for the work he's done to solve 8 wars in 10 months, along with his administration, and the first to host the Kennedy Center Awards. Seeing those replays as he walked the red carpet with First Lady Melania Trump. Thank you to allfamilypharmacy.com/RSBN as we celebrate the most cherished of times this Christmas season. With Hanukkah next week, with Christmas in 2 weeks, we reflect on the Advent season that has us still and waiting as we prepare for the celebration and the reason for the season, as President Trump said, Jesus Christ, last week at the Christmas tree lighting ceremony, and with First Lady Melania Trump visiting Toys for Tots today and the National Children's Hospital just last week to read some stories with Santa Claus and Mrs. Claus. Get 10% off of your must-haves, Tamiflu, antibiotics, ivermectin, much, much more. The season of charity and giving and season's greetings bring sometimes that cold and flu. Use code RSBN10, scan that QR code now for all of these life-saving medications. What's great about this online pharmacy, they believe in the right to try. They believe in family values. And with no insurance, it's no problem. No red tape, no bureaucracy. You just need that pharmaceutical note. A U.S. doctor will review all of your needs and send that order directly to your door. So no hassle. Many of the pharmacies down the street from you are likely not to prescribe things like ivermectin, hydrochloroquine, NAD+, methylene blue, and emergency medical kits that can make a difference in a season where you can have urgent cares that are out the door. Even the urgent care right by my building, literally out the door almost every day. So I avoid that with a number of life-saving medications. Also, again, going to the gym, going to church, getting to bed on time, eating right, cold showers. This helps with all of that as well. 10% off now. Code RSBN10. Scan the QR code there and get these off-label generics that are affordable right to your door at allfamilypharmacy.com/RSBN. Gold, Monetary Gold. They are the best in the business. Wealth Preservation Securities. Grab that complimentary presidential gold guide today. 888-617-7994. Ask how you can eliminate your annual IRA fees permanently for life. RSBN4thegold.com. With all the BRICS nations divesting, friends and foe, from the American dollar, and with the purchasing power of the dollar falling 40% in 2 decades, with banks failing to this year alone here domestically, Good to find a plan or craft one with the good people at Monetary Gold for tangible gold and silver in your hands that have stood the test of time. And with central banks around the world stocking up in gold and silver, it's good for your household as well. RSBN4thegold.com, an essential to protect your savings, your retirement, everything you've worked hard for your entire career. 888-617-7994. Call today. Do not delay. Thank you for sponsoring us on the right side of history. We also have the First Lady. In case you missed it from earlier today, Toys for Tots, the U.S. Marines all coming together with Santa Claus. And Buddy the Elf, I think he stopped by. He was in the background helping out Santa Claus. And all the kids getting ready to put you in the holiday spirit. Makes me want to open some presents. We're only 2 weeks away. In the meantime, the First Lady and Toys for Tots.
Thank you, General Anderson. It's wonderful to join everyone here at Marine Corps Base Quantico. You might be wondering why Santa asked me to bring him here today. Well, this wonderful adventure is filled with Christmas sparkle and lots of love. Santa's reindeer, Rudolph, Dasher, Comet, all of them, they are resting in the North Pole. They need to save all of their energy for their great flight around the world on Christmas Eve. Santa told me they are snuggled beneath warm, fluffy blankets, sipping candy cane cocoa, feeling the joy and love that will soon be shared with amazing children everywhere. So, with his sleigh parked safely with his reindeer, Santa climbed aboard my Osprey and couldn't stop smiling. I watched him gazing out of the window, grinning at all of the wonderful American families below. Santa told me that the Osprey floated through the sky like a giant snowflake, but it is way faster than a sleigh could ever fly. Santa, where are you, Santa? Thank you for joining me. Today, we are here for one of the most beloved traditions of the holiday season, Toys for Tots, led by United States Marine Corps Reserve. For more than 75 years, Marines and volunteers across America collect and deliver new toys to children who need a little extra joy during Christmas, all wrapped with love and great care. To everyone here at Quantico and all those who support the Toys for Tots Foundation, thank you. This includes the Toy Association's generous support. I'm grateful for your partnership and dedication to promoting fun and creativity. You help bring the delight of Christmas morning to millions of children, and you remind us all that American tradition, kindness, and love remain among our most powerful. To the families of military personnel, you are the heart of today's celebration. Your strength in the face of the adversity is inspirational. Some of the children here today have a parent stationed away from home right now. I know this can be difficult. On behalf of our nation, thank you. And thank you to the parents and guardians who are here today. Your support and resilience empower our Marines to serve with honor and distinction. Whether near or far, you illuminate every occasion, enriching everyone's life. This Christmas season, you your friends, and your families should wish for the ultimate gift, love. After all, love travels further than Santa's sleigh and American ospreys. Thank you, and Merry Christmas, and Happy and Healthy New Year. Thank you.
The First Lady earlier today meeting with the Marines and Toys for Tots. She really is an extraordinary representative, and the Christmas season truly shines through the office of the First Lady, and what an improvement we had from last year, no question about that. But all of the inside, if you have the chance to go to the White House, which I highly, highly recommend anytime, but especially during the Christmas seasons, you will see there, home is where the heart is, the theme for the White House celebration in this 2025, and reflecting on the Pearl Harbor anniversary from yesterday and going through that history 84 years later. It was quite a somber time there at the White House with President Roosevelt, but even to go into his fireside chats, even as a liberal president, how he invoked the blessings of God and our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ over this country, the foundational principles of America, really something to reflect upon as a historian that you might be at home as well. So home is where the heart is, and it surely is there at the White House this Christmas season. Through the First Lady's office, we're going to go right to the President now, participating in a roundtable.
Thank you for being here as we take a very vital action to protect and defend American farmers and reduce prices for the American consumers. And we've done that in so many different fields, and this is a little bit of a different field, but we're bringing prices way down. We inherited a total mess from the Biden administration, the highest inflation in the country's history, and very, very high prices, and prices are coming down, and they're very, very far down on energy. Energy's come. In fact, we hit a very important number, sacred number. We had 3 states in the last 2 days, reported by our energy group, a group of very strong energy people, who said we hit $1.99 a gallon in 3 different states, and that's an amazing accomplishment because the gasoline prices are coming down. When gasoline comes down, everything, it's such a big category that when gasoline comes down, sort of everything sort of follows. But we inherited a mess. Affordability, but you can call it affordability or anything you want, but the Democrats caused the affordability problem, and we're the ones that are fixing it. So it's a very simple statement. They caused it, we're fixing it, and they have a tendency to just say this election's based on affordability. And nobody questions them, John. You know, nobody says, "Oh, well, what do you mean by that?" But they just say the word. They never say anything else because they caused the problem. But we're fixing the problem, and we're pleased to be joined today by many of the wonderful members of the farming community, as well as the Secretary of Agriculture, Brooke Rollins. Brooke, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent. Thank you very much, Scott. Senator John Bozeman. Thank you, John. Good job. John Hoeven. Thank you, John. And Deb Fisher. Thank you very much. As well as Representative Austin Scott, who's been with us right from the beginning. Thank you, Austin. Good job. I'm delighted to announce this afternoon that the United States will be taking a small portion of the hundreds of billions of dollars we receive in tariffs. We are making a lot of money from countries that took advantage of us for years. They took advantage of us like nobody's ever seen. Our deficits are way down because of tariffs. I guess because of the election, because without the election you wouldn't have tariffs. You'd be sitting here losing your shirt. But we're taking in billions. We're really taking in trillions of dollars, if you think about it, Scott, because the real numbers, you know, when you think of all the money being poured into the country for new auto plants and all of the other things, AI. So what we're doing is we're taking a relatively small portion of that, and we're going to be giving and providing it to the farmers in economic assistance. And we love our farmers, and as you know, the farmers like me, because you know, based on voting trends, you could call it voting trends or anything else, but they're great people. They're the backbone of our country. So we're going to use that money to provide $12 billion in economic assistance to American farmers. $12 billion is a lot of money, Meryl. What do you think? Peanuts for you, though, right? Peanuts. She's a farmer of rice. This relief will provide much-needed certainty to farmers as they get this year's harvest to market and look ahead to next year's crops. And it'll help them continue their efforts to lower food prices for American families. And again, we inherited something that we inherited the worst inflation in the history of our country, and we're taking care of it. Farmers are an indispensable national asset, part of the backbone of America. I've always felt it so strongly. They're so important. Unfortunately, under sleepy Joe Biden, he's a sleepy guy, our farmers were crushed by the worst inflation in modern history and crippling restrictions on energy, water, and countless other necessities for farmers. And what they did to the farmer in terms of putting the brakes on was just absolutely unacceptable. In my first term, we had an agricultural trade surplus by a lot. We had a big surplus, meaning that we were exporting American agricultural products all over the world, making a net profit, and in many cases a very substantial profit. He came in and ruined it. Biden turned that surplus into a gaping agricultural deficit that continues to this day, but we're knocking it down. It's starting to go very good. In fact, China, as you know, is buying a tremendous amount of soybeans, and the number, I spoke with President Xi recently, very recently, and I think he's going to do even more than he promised to do. So I think the relationship is a very good one. I think he's going to do more than he promised to do, and what he promised to do is a lot. So we're very happy with that. In the last year, Biden bankruptcies rose by 55%, having to do with farms. So farm bankruptcies under Joe Biden went up 55%. That's not good. But now we're once again in a position where a president is able to put farmers first. But unfortunately, I'm the only president that does that. On day one, I terminated the Green New Scam. Energy prices are down. Gasoline prices are down. We've slashed record numbers of crippling regulations, and we're working on huge trade deals, already securing $60 billion in agricultural purchase commitments. And, you know, Biden made none. He didn't make any trade deals having to do with the farmers or any of it. It's crazy. China committed. He was the worst president in the history of our country, by the way, in case anybody has any questions. China committed to over $40 billion of soybean purchases, and that's a commitment. And I asked President Xi if he could even up it. And I think he'll do that. I mean, not a commitment. The $40 billion is a commitment, but the soybean farmers are quite happy. Since my successful meeting in South Korea with President Xi, purchases have been made and soybeans are being exported out of the United States to China as we speak. And I say that our soybeans, I told this to President Xi, our soybeans are more nutritious than competitors. Somebody said, is that a Trump statement or is that real? In fact, you know who asked me that question? President Xi asked me that question. He said, really, I had never heard of it. And he was a food purchaser for a long time. But that's what I hear. And Japan agreed to $8 billion in purchases of corn, soybeans, ethanol, fertilizer, aviation, biofuel, and rice. You know, Japan never bought rice from anybody else. It's like a very important thing to them. And they agreed to buy rice, okay?
Absolutely.
So I also proudly signed into law the largest tax cuts in history, and the one big, beautiful bill, the monumental tax relief bill that is benefiting very, very strongly, benefiting the American farmer. And I think also for farmers, we have, as you know, and we got this, the estate tax, or the death tax, as they call it, on farmers, on small businesses. You don't have to pay it anymore. A lot of farms, you love your children, and your children are great, and they want to be farmers, and you leave the farm with your children, and a lot of farms are, you know, sort of cash poor, land rich, cash poor, and the kids would go to the local bank or to any bank, and they'd borrow money to pay the estate tax, and they'd end up losing the farm. They go bankrupt, and a lot of debt too. You know, literally because they love their farm and they love their business and they love that way of life, they end up committing suicide. A lot of suicides. We have no more estate tax. How about that? Do you have children?
I do.
Well, let them know. Now, if you love your children, then it's good. If you don't love your children, you don't have to leave them anything. It doesn't matter what I just said.
They're still young. I still love them.
I have a feeling you love them.
I still love them.
I have a feeling you love your children. But the estate tax is a very big thing. So you don't have estate tax. You die, you leave your farm or whatever, or small business to your children, you don't have to pay estate tax. It seems to affect the farmer more than anybody else. Because you can have a farm that's very valuable, and therefore you have to pay a big tax, but it's not a big value in terms of cash. Maximizing domestic farm production is a big part of how we will make America affordable again and bring down grocery prices for American families. And again, these are prices that we inherited. When I left, we were doing incredible. In 4 years, what they've done to this country and so many, and not even mentioning the border and the criminals allowed into our country and all of the other. So I just want to say it's a tremendous honor being with you. I'd now like to ask Secretary Rollins to provide some of the details, followed by Secretary Bessent, Director of the National Economic Council, Kevin Hassett, Senator Bozeman, Representative Scott, and then we go to a couple of the farmers' representatives, but we'll all get involved a little bit. You can speak. Anybody is shy to speak in front of the press, and I don't blame you if that's the case, but farmers, Court Holub and Merrill Kennedy will say a few words also, and then we'll have a little discussion, okay? Madam Secretary.
Thank you to the greatest boss in the world for a long time now. It's just an honor to be here. I'm going to keep my comments very short because I really want to make sure that you and the world gets to hear from our farmers. So a couple of quick points. Number one, this country and our farm economy is facing a crisis that we inherited that most of these farmers have not seen in their lifetime. Profitability is down. It's just one crisis after another. When we came into office, or when you did and you were sworn in on January the 20th, as you mentioned, not one new trade deal had been struck in 4 years. The cost of inputs for our farmers, fertilizer up 36%, manual labor up 47%, interest rates up 73%. When you combine the cost of inputs for our farmers married to no new trade deals, and then you're facing an administration whose priorities were DEI, climate change, putting the farmer aside. I mean, it was an absolute war on agriculture and on our rural communities. That all changed on January 20th. So as, sir, we are working, and you have been just so resolute. I mean, these are our people. Rural America is the fabric of our country. This is the way of life that preserves the American dream for the next 250 years as we celebrate the first 250 years. So we began to go to work immediately. What these elected officials sitting across from us did with the One Big Beautiful Bill, with a lot of help and direction from you, was the largest investment in rural America in any of our lifetimes. We will begin to see that effectuated next year in 2026. As we have fought to bring input costs down, you have talked about, and even this weekend did an executive order, signed one, on looking into the reason that so much of these costs have been driven up over and over. Equipment, again, fertilizer, seed, et cetera, et cetera. We have to make sure we understand why that is. And then the continuing of the additional trade deals across the world. And no longer will America be held and beholden to the regime of other countries' tariff infrastructure. Instead, we are moving our products out across the world. Having said that, and we have been listening to the farmers for the last 10 months, 11 months, sir, that the bridge that is needed to get from the last administration and what basically happened under the last president and the last U.S. Department of Agriculture to this new golden age for farmers, where instead of farming for government checks, they can farm to feed their family and sell their products and pass it on to the next generation, that this bridge is absolutely necessary based on where we are right now. So as the president said, we are very pleased to announce that today we are going to be effectuating an $11 billion bridge payment to our farmers. The money will move by February 28th of 2026, but by the end of this month, so just in the next couple of weeks, every farmer that is able to apply for it will know exactly what that number looks like. So as you are going to your lender, as you are working to ensure and understanding what you can plant for next year, you will have that number in hand. And we will continue to talk to our farmers, continue to understand exactly what this looks like and what is necessary. The final thing I'll say is
12 billion.
Well, we're holding $1 billion back. So today we are announcing $11 billion. We are holding $1 billion back just to ensure that we are covering. So today's announcement covers all of our row crops, but some specialty crops and others that we are still working with to best understand where they are in the farm economy and ensure that we're making every forward-moving position that we need to. And then finally, as we move to this new golden age for agriculture and for rural America, as we continue to fight for these farmers and ranchers, their way of life, and those that are represented here represent hundreds of thousands of farmers across this country. Just know that this president, I have never been around anyone who every time we talk, he asks, how are my farmers? Every single time. So we will never stop fighting. We will make sure that we're doing everything we can to ensure the next 250 years is just as bright, if not brighter, than the last. So thank you, sir.
Brooke. Thank you. And this money would not be possible without tariffs. The tariffs are taking in, hundreds of billions of dollars, and we're giving some up to the farmers because they were mistreated by other countries for, I don't know, maybe right reasons, maybe wrong reasons. They weren't. They were trying to show us something, and it's really worked out really well. But because of the tariffs, this is possible. The other thing I'd like to add before going to Scott, and I think it's very important, we're going to also give the tractor companies, John Deere and all of the companies that make the equipment, we're going to take off a lot of the environmental restrictions that they have on machinery. It's ridiculous. I know because I buy a lot of that machinery for different things. We have a lot of big clubs with, hundreds, thousands of acres. And I buy a lot of stuff, and you buy it, it's got so much equipment on it for the environmental, it doesn't do anything, except it makes the equipment much more expensive and much more complicated to work. And it's not as good as the old days. And we're going to take a lot of that nonsense off of the equipment, which is going to reduce, and we're going to do it, and we're going to say you're going to reduce the prices. We're not going to do it, and they're not going to reduce. They're going to have to reduce their prices because farming equipment has gotten too expensive. And a lot of the reason is because they put these environmental excesses on the equipment, which don't do a damn thing except make it complicated, make it impractical. And you really have to be, in many cases, you need about 185 IQ to turn on a lawnmower. Now, so we're going to take that off, that crap off that they put on Biden mostly, and we're going to take that off. So that's going to make that'll bring down the equipment prices a lot.
That's right.
And we're going to do that immediately. You're going to work with Lee Zeldin, who's not here, is doing a fantastic job, and Lee is going to work that out. And that would be most of it. It's crazy. The machines, they're always under repair because they're so complicated that you can't fix them. The old days you used to fix it yourself. Now you can't do that. You have to be a PhD from, let's say, MIT. Okay, so we're going to get that done. Scott, please go ahead.
Good. Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you to the farmers to join us today. And I will tell all of you here that when either in person or when we are on a call with President Xi, the first thing the president asking for is more soybean purchases.
That's right.
We don't talk about geopolitics. We don't talk about trade. It's about soybean purchases.
We don't even say hello. We immediately start. Soybean. We start with the soybean, please.
Could you do a little? It's always could you do a little more? So, and I think President Xi has heard President Trump. This group represents an American way of life that has fed our nation and its spirit for hundreds of years. You are the caretakers of the most productive agricultural country on earth. You drive hundreds of billions of dollars in exports, support millions of jobs, and keep America's economy running strong. And this administration is committed to keeping it that way. By putting farmers first, President Trump is ushering in a new golden age for agriculture. The President's $11 billion relief package for America's farmers comes at a critical time. These direct payments will give producers the breathing room they need to market this year's harvest and plan for next season. This serves as a liquidity bridge during a period of adjustment, supporting the strongest agricultural sector in the world. Add this to the President's success in reining in Biden-era inflation, thanks to the administration's pro-growth policies, input costs like fuel and fertilizer are easing, and credit conditions are improving, interest rates are coming down, helping farmers prepare for the next harvest. President Trump scored a massive victory for America's farmers when he secured an arrangement with President Xi in Busan to reopen China's markets to U.S. agricultural exports, especially soybeans, sorghum, and other commodities. Under this framework, China committed to purchase at least 12 million metric tons of U.S. soybeans this growing season, followed by a minimum of 25 million tons annually for the next 3 years. And it's not just China. At the President's direction, Treasury, USTR, and the Department of Commerce have secured supplemental purchases of U.S. agricultural goods in major trade agreements across the world to open new markets to America's farmers. The One Big Beautiful Bill also delivered transformative benefits for America's small farmers. It locked in full expensing for farm equipment and 100% expensing for farm structures built during the President's term. I believe Representative Scott and a group in the House, we were originally just going to do factories, and they called us and said, you need to do farm structures too, and the President said, we're all in. And it extended and enhanced much needed relief from the punishing death tax, giving family farms greater certainty as they plan for the next generation. Mr. President, thank you for putting America first by putting your farmers first. Through pro-growth, pro-farm agenda, you are ushering in a new golden age of American agriculture, and Treasury is proud to help in this.
Thank you, Scott. You know what we'll do? We're going to go a little faster because the last meeting we had was 3 hours. We're the most transparent group, so if we can go faster, it'll be great. And then we'll take some questions from the fake news. Is that okay? Kevin, go real fast, Kevin.
Yeah, I could go really fast, sir. Yeah. Sir, the farm economy, you always ask me to just get a few numbers to put it in perspective. And as I've looked through the incredible performance of these people that work so hard and are such important people for keeping communities alive, the thing that struck me the most, because you and I were here in the White House during COVID, is that during those terrible COVID times, farm production didn't go down. Like these farmers, they went to work every day and they produced so much. But then Joe Biden came in, so we had COVID, and farm production didn't go down. And then Joe Biden came in and he really wrecked the farm economy. And so during Biden's term, 150,000 farms closed, sir. 150,000 farms closed after we went through COVID and we didn't have a problem. Now, why did we do it? Why were we able to do that? I'm going fast. The first is that, do you know that expenses for farms fell 5% while we were here because of all the things that we did, expensing and everything else? But under Joe Biden, they went up 13% because of all the regulations, energy, everything else. But the thing that really jumped out at me the most is because you had high growth and low inflation. Interest expense for the farm economy fell $120 million per year while you were there in the White House. But under Joe Biden, it increased by $8 billion per year. And so you wonder why it is that we need this $11 billion, maybe $12 billion to build a bridge loan to America's farmers. It's because we know how to fix it, but there really was a hole that was dug in the previous administration. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Good. That was quick. That's good. Appreciate it. Senator, please.
Yes, sir. No, thank you so much. Thank you for convening us this great announcement and all your hard work for farmers. I think I was reading the clips, I think yesterday you talked about, Mr. Secretary, about farmers needing certainty, and which is so true. This bridge note is one of those things that provides certainty. I also, as I was reading that, thought to myself, the one thing that farmers can be certain of is the fact that you've got their back, and you proved that through the years in the last administration and now this. I was giving a presentation to the Senate a a while back, and I was talking about us having the cheapest, safest food supply of any place in the world. It's not just about the farmers in rural America. And so Marco Rubio was sitting by me prior to coming over here and becoming the great Secretary of State. But he punched me and said, John, always remind him, he was head of the Committee on Intelligence then. He punched me, he said, always remind him, food security is national security. So this is important for so many different reasons. And again, I appreciate you for recognizing that, not only now, but when you were campaigning in your first election, how you treated the farmers in your first administration, and now stepping up. So we look forward to helping you. If we need some additional help, looking to Congress, or whatever, we'll be there for you. So
We're taking in so much money with the tariffs now that it's such a pleasure. Without it, we wouldn't be able to help you. We're making a country, we're the richest country in the world now. And, we have a big decision. Hopefully we're going to get the right decision. It's such a big thing in the Supreme Court right now. We have a lot of bad people opposed to us, people that hate our country. Other countries are involved, some real sleazebags that I know, political sleazebags. And they're trying to take that away from us. And we have other methods, but they're not as powerful. They're not as quick. Some of the wars that I solved wouldn't have been solved using those methods. So it's a very important thing, the tariff. The decision of the Supreme Court's a very important thing. And, Scott, we can do it other ways, but it's slow and it's cumbersome, and it doesn't have the power. It doesn't have the national security power that we have. So I hope we're going to be successful. That's all I can tell you. Austin, please. Thank you, John.
Well, first of all, President, thank you for the selection of Brooke Rollins as Secretary of Agriculture. That was a big first step.
You want to keep her?
Absolutely.
Can I
absolutely
butt in and second that? She's not only her, but her staff does a tremendous job.
I agree.
And
remember eggs? Remember we came in and
absolutely
the people in the media. I'm going to be nice. People in the media were 3 days into offices. You right? They're saying egg prices are up like 90% more than that. And I said, I just got here. I didn't know about it. Anyway, she got those prices down to below what they were before. She's doing a great job. Now beef is starting to come down, and some other things are starting to come down.
Yeah.
Again, we inherited these problems, but we're getting them down. Go ahead, please.
She's a fact-based decision maker, and the egg issue is where I learned about her. She said, we're not going to use a vaccine that doesn't work. We're going to develop a vaccine that does.
Right.
And that is 100% what it takes. And so we have to make decisions based on facts. And President Trump, the trade issues, I want to thank you for exposing what other countries are doing to us.
Yep.
I want to mention one specifically for the benefit of Kevin and Scott. I hope they're paying attention to it, but the European Union deforestation regulation, where they are imposing on our landowners rules that were established for Brazil, and now they're telling the American farmer what they can and can't do on their own land through this European Union deforestation regulation.
What does that tell? Explain that.
They are telling the American farmer that if their timber is cut and they are going to use that land for pasture land or for production agriculture, that they will not take the timber or the byproducts from the sale of that timber. And I have talked with James a little earlier about we need to make it clear to Europe, Mr. President.
If you could give me a 2-paragraph statement on that, I will give that to them, and they will do what they have to do.
Yes, sir.
We're always helping them, and they do this kind of stuff. And they pass little regulations that cost billions of dollars. It takes them 2 minutes to do it. They do it. Very tough. No good. You give me a couple of paragraphs. That's all. We don't have to do a lengthy study, and I'll get that changed fast. Okay?
Thank you very much, President. We love you.
It's incredible. It's incredible. I mean, every day it's something else.
A country that can't feed itself doesn't know what freedom is. And so thank you for making sure that our farmers have the tools that they need so that we as a country can feed ourselves.
Well, just what you said to me about, the European Union, and that guy's the European Union, right? We have to be able to act quickly with tariffs. We can't just, go to a committee, go to a study that takes 7 months and talk. We got to be able to act quickly. So thank you very much. John?
Thank you. I think that's the message from Farm Country is thank you very much. You know, in the Working Family Tax Relief Act, or as my young staffers call it, OB3, there is a tremendous amount for farmers and ranchers. You mentioned the credit as far as estate tax, which is so important. You analyzed it just right. But also in there, we enhanced ARC and PLC, which is a countercyclical safety net, thanks to the strong leadership of Senator Bozeman and our colleagues in the House. We also included the Farmer Act, which was my bill to make crop insurance more affordable. These tools will kick in next year, Mr. President, in a big, big way for our farmers. Big time. And people aren't even really looking at it yet. But it's going to be a very big deal. So today is all about bridging to get there. And I want to thank Secretary Bassett and Jameson Greer. They're tremendous. And they're negotiating hard out there for farmers and ranchers. And I know it's because you're setting the tone. But this is that bridge. And so we need to come back to Secretary Rollins. Thank you. Your leadership on this was vital. And Mr. President, you're right, they love you in Farm Country out there. All you have to do is drive out and see the flags and
the signs all over the fields.
On the hay bales, right?
It's a great honor. They're great people, the best people.
This is really important. Really important for our farmers and ranchers. Thank you very much.
You're doing a great job too, John. Thank you. And whatever we need, we get through the Senate, we get through the House, we'll get it done. I think we'll start maybe with Court Hollow, and you come from that place that I'm very happy with.
I hail from the great state of Iowa. I'm surrounded here by some of the greatest farmers in the area, and from across the country. Anything from rice farmers, we've got all sorts of cotton farmers, everything. Everything is here represented so well. And first off, from me, I want to say thank you for this bridge payment. It's Christmas early for farmers. And just to kind of have an icebreaker here for the story, I've got a 2-year-old little boy at home. 2-year-old little boy and a 4-month-old little girl. And the other day I was reading my little boy a story at night, putting him to bed, and he said, "Daddy, I don't want Santa Claus to come to our house for Christmas. I want President Trump." and I think, Mr. Trump, I think you brought Christmas to farmers. With this bridge payment, we'll be able to farm another year, help us get by. It's such an honor to be here with you. I lost my grandfather and a hard hand in 2002 in a farming accident. And he instilled in me at an early age to love the land, to take pride in what we do.
Was that a machine accident?
It was a machine accident. And it gets in your blood to farm. It's in our blood. Despite what happened, I want my 2-year-old to farm. I want my 4-month-old daughter to have an opportunity. And what you're doing here in D.C. is working. You have a backbone to stand up to other countries for trade. You're getting things done. Tax provisions. I'll be able to potentially pass on a farm to my children because of you. Ethanol. You're working for ethanol. Trying to get E15 year-round. We're dealing with California. Prop 12. Let's continue to work on that. I think we can have a lot of domestic product used here in the country, and we can keep America first, and you're good at that. That is who you are. And if we keep that E15, you could have the biggest...
E15 is a big deal?
E15 is a great deal, year-round.
Okay.
You could have the biggest stamp. I did that. Trump did that, and we would thank you. Farmers would love you more than anything if we could continue that. Continue to use domestic product, use the byproducts, and even be able to export to other countries. And so what you've done here, and just having us here in the White House with you, sitting beside the Secretary and all these other great individuals here, what a true honor. And I will take pride in this meeting, and I will take this home for many generations to come. And because of what you're doing, hopefully them generations can stay on the whole Bland farm.
Well, we're going to bring you into the Oval Office when we're finished, okay? The farmers Nobody else, just the farmers. And we'll take some pictures. Our representatives also. Okay, you have to let them, because they're doing a great job, John and Austin. We appreciate it. You're doing a great job. Meryl, go ahead, please. Tell us about rice.
Rice. Well, thank you, first of all, for inviting me here. And my friend, the secretary, you have an incredible lady right here. She really is. Along with being a mother of 3 and a wife, I run my family's agribusiness, Kennedy Rice Mill, in a little town called Marouge, Louisiana, about 1,000 people in the northern part of the state. We employ around 150 people, taking rice from the field to a finished product, supplying some of the largest food companies that many of you would know here domestically, but also abroad. And my sisters and I, because there is 4 of us, right? I'm the youngest of 4 daughters, started our own rice brand a few years ago to just tell the story of American agriculture that hadn't really been told before. But I wish I was here under better terms. I'll tell you, I think the rice industry thanks you sincerely for what you have done for the California rice market into Japan. It has been monumental for our industry. But us in the South are really struggling. I mean, this is not just a crisis. I would say it's almost a market dynamics that really are true anti-competitive nature, right? So it follows what you sent out this weekend. And we do believe that countries are dumping rice into this country today. We've never seen imports this great.
Which countries?
India, Thailand, even China into Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico used to be one of the largest markets for U.S. rice. We haven't shipped rice into Puerto Rico in years. So this has been happening for years. This didn't start during your administration, but unfortunately, we're seeing it in a much bigger way now. The tariffs are working, but we need to double down because
you want more. I mean,
they're cheating, right? They're they're just subsidizing and then
India. Tell me about India. Why is India allowed to do that? They have to pay tariffs. Do they have an exemption on rice?
No, sir. We're still working on their trade deal. So
but they should be dumping. I mean, I heard that from London. So you can't do that.
There's a WTO case against India
now.
Give
me the countries, if you could. Go ahead. India. Who else?
So India.
Mark it down. Which is good.
Yes, sir.
India, Thailand, China into Puerto Rico, not into the continental U.S., but into Puerto Rico. Those are the main culprits.
So Puerto Rico used to do a lot of business, and now you
100%. Puerto Rico was U.S. based.
All right.
And
so
now
easy to settle. Okay.
But there's others too, and I can get you a full list.
Give me a full list. Yeah.
Of course I can.
All right.
So.
Go ahead.
So truly, this is a national security issue. I think you put it just perfectly. And so I want for all of us in the ring to know that rice is more than just a commodity. It's a currency in many of these countries.
And you love rice, right?
I love rice. Yes, I'm going to get you to love rice too. The next time you're not going to have a button for a Coke, you're going to have a button for a rice.
Get a little bit of rice.
But
the farmers love what they do.
Yeah, that's true. Well, our farmers can feed this nation and many nations abroad, but we need fair trade, not free trade. Yep. And so we appreciate what you've done today. We appreciate what you did in the big, beautiful bill. I mean, my word, you really changed reference prices, and we're hopeful that we can even move that further. I know that rice prices right now are the lowest they've been in over 40 years, so we're going to struggle. We're going to max out on our payments probably. So that's something that I know those in Congress can potentially help us with to change. But again, we appreciate everything you're doing.
That's solved so quickly with tariffs to these countries that are illegally shipping. It's solved. Your problem is solved in one day. Mm-hmm. That's why we have to win the Supreme Court case. Mm-hmm. In one day, that problem's solved. It's so unfair. They go out of business. They put everyone out of business. That's what they did to our car industry. We lost more than 50% of our car industry because of that. We lost our chip industry. Went to Taiwan because of that. If you had a president that said, no, you can't do that, it's 100% or 200% tariff on chips if you make them outside of the United States, we would have never lost our chip industry. But we're going to have 40 or 50% of it back very shortly because they're all coming in now from Taiwan. They're building chip companies. But it's the same thing with rice. Thank you, darling, very much.
Thank
Really
you.
nice. Well, it'll be good. We'll
Thank you.
get it solved very quickly. We just need the countries. We just give us the names of the countries.
Yeah.
Tariffs
They
again.
own the
It solves
largest
solves the problem in 2 minutes.
Yeah, they've bought the largest brands at retail too, right? So they have an incentive to subsidize their products so that they can keep it on the
Yeah,
shelf.
who did that?
The Indians own the two largest brands.
Then we'll take care of it.
Thank
It's so easy. So, do you have any questions?
Yes, President Trump. How are
How
you?
about keeping it on farming?
Well, your team answered all of my questions on
Votes.
farming, but I do.
Do you have a farm
Mr.
question?
President, in the interest of affordability with this aid package, I assume that that's something you want consumers to see before midterms next year. How quickly will that affect prices at the grocery store?
Well, I think the prices are going to be going down already. I mean, the prices are way down. We brought prices way down from what it was. We inherited high prices. We inherited the biggest inflation in the history of our country. That means prices going up. And we brought it down very substantially. Now inflation is essentially gone. We have it normalized, and it'll go down even a little bit further. You don't want it to be deflation either. You have to be careful. But we brought it way down. We had inflation that was the highest in the history of our country. They say 48 years, but I say the history. 48 years is pretty bad too, right? So we're solving those problems.
President Trump,
We're
would
bringing
you-
them way down. Yeah.
Would you consider MAHA incentives for farmers that go by MAHA guidelines?
Well, a lot of the farmers like those MAHA guidelines. Yeah. So I mean, they do. We like MAHA. How do you feel about
Yeah,
that?
let me answer that. So this is another reason, I didn't mention it, but this is another reason I think that what we're moving into is a golden age for agriculture. As Secretary Kennedy and I, and across our cabinet with the president's leadership, focusing on making America healthy again, the undergirding foundational effort in that is our agriculture industry. It is our farmers and our ranchers. So as the new dietary guidelines come out in early January, where USDA alone spends $400 million a day on nutrition programs, that's a whole other SNAP, fraud, etc. But when you think about what a market mover that is, as we begin to move the market toward more locally produced, American-made, healthier products, closer to the schools, the hospitals, etc., you again begin to open up so much of the market for the great products produced by these farmers instead of ultra-processed foods out of a box. So there's a lot that's going to be coming on that as well. I'm really excited.
I have one more question. It's not related to farming, but if you'll entertain. I'm Kara from Lindell TV, Kara Kashnov, and I'm not fake news, just so you know. And everybody's talking about the pipe bomber over the weekend, the suspect that was taken into custody. I reported on Biden's kangaroo court for 4 years, and this is an important question to me. Everyone knows that J6 was a Fedsurrection to set you and your supporters up. So my question is, what's your gut instinct about the new pipe bomber suspect taken into custody? Does your instinct tell you that he acted alone? And also, Mr. President, how do you feel about the lead prosecutor on the pipe bomber case? Jocelyn Ballantine is the same prosecutor that allegedly asked the J6er to lie to frame you for J6 when you did nothing wrong. What are your thoughts?
Well, thank you. I really appreciate that question. It's sort of a statement, and I appreciate it very much. Jocelyn is being looked at. They all have to be looked at. What they're doing is so bad. This was a whole Democrat hoax. The whole thing was a Democrat hoax, and it's all being looked at. I appreciate
Is
that.
this the final aid package, Mr. President, or is more expected? Is this the final aid package, farm aid
It
package?
depends on where we go. China's buying a lot. Other countries are buying a lot. And, you know, the interesting thing about the farm, they don't want aid. They want to just have a level playing field.
No, please.
I've seen that more with farmers than anybody else, any other industry, right, Deb?
Right.
We've seen it more with farmers where I've had meetings like this, primarily in the first term, and we did a great job. We turned it around. This is going to be the golden age. But the farmers don't want aid. They want to have a level playing field, because if they have a level playing field, they'll do better than anybody else. They're better than anybody else. Our product is incredible. Our machinery is incredible, right? I mean, we do have the best machines. It's a very big statement I made, though. The environmental excess that we have put onto our tractors and all of our machinery. Do you all agree with that, by the way? You don't
Yeah, it's got to go.
It doesn't do anything except make the machines break all the time.
Yeah.
And I must say, I like to buy old machinery. I said, buy old, because it's better. The new stuff is terrible. It never works. Never works.
Mr. President, you said that you would have no.
listen to
Mr.
this.
President, you said you would have no problem with releasing the full video of that strike on September 2nd off the coast of Venezuela. Secretary Hegseth
I
now
didn't
says.
say that. You said that. I didn't say that. This is ABC fake news.
You said that you would have no problem releasing the full bit. Okay, well, Secretary Hegseth.
Whatever Hegseth wants to do is okay with me.
He now says it's under review. Are you ordering the secretary to release that full video?
Whatever he decides is okay with me. So every boat we knock out of the water, every boat we save 25,000 American lives. That was a boat loaded up with drugs. I saw the video. They were trying to turn the boat back to where it could float. And we didn't want to see that because that boat was loaded up with drugs just like everything else. But every boat we shoot down, and I don't know if you know, we're 92 or 94% down in drugs coming in by the sea. And we're trying to find who are the 6%. Because I don't know, people aren't liking to drive boats right now loaded up with drugs. But every single, think of that, every single boat we shoot out, on average, we save 25,000 American lives. Do you feel okay about that, Court?
Keep us safe.
Okay. I know my men. What about you? Are you okay with that?
I'm totally fine with that. Are you committed to releasing the full video?
Didn't I just tell you that?
You said that it was
You're
up
the
to
most
Secretary Hegseth.
obnoxious reporter in the whole place. Let me just tell you, you are an obnoxious, a terrible reporter. And it's always the same thing with you. I told you, whatever Pete Hegseth wants to do is okay with me.
Touch on the midterms, and I just have a quick question. There's at least 20 House Republicans who have either said they're going to retire or not run again. Do you
And
have any
Democrats
concerns
also.
about the
And Democrats
Right.
also.
Do you have
Well,
any?
why don't you mention them? How many Democrats are going to retire? How many Democrats?
Well, that's what I was going to ask you.
But
Do you
why don't you
have-
tell me the number of Democrats, too? You
Well,
tell me
are
about...
you concerned about the narrow margins? And
No, I'm not concerned. I think we're going to do well.
Among them, and
We will have the
Nassau
greatest
County
economy.
Bruce Blakeman, who you know as well, is considering running for
We're going
governor.
to have the greatest economy in history. How many Democrats are retiring? How come you only know the Republicans but not the
Because I
Democrats?
came prepared to ask you a question about.
No, you're unprepared because you should know the Democrats. You're totally unprepared. Go ahead.
Well, can I ask a quick follow-up
Who you with?
about?
Who you with?
I'm with New York Newsday, and I also have a quick follow-up. Congresswoman Elise Stefanik is among those who is running for
She's
New York
great.
governor.
She's great.
Bruce Blakeman, who you also know.
He's
is Nassau
also
County.
great.
Are you planning on making any
Well, I'll
endorsements?
think
or
about it,
any
but he's
endorsements?
great and she's great. They're both great people. We have a lot of great people in the Republican Party. Go ahead.
Can I get back to farming?
Yeah.
You talked about the profitability issue, the machinery playing a role in that.
Right.
And fertilizer plays another role in that. A
Right.
lot of that, the way I understand it, it comes in from Canada, different countries like that. What are we doing to bolster domestic fertilizer production to help make that more affordable? And then I think that will transition
Well, one
down
of the
pipe.
things, a lot of it does come in from Canada. And so we'll end up putting very severe tariffs on that if we have to, because that's the way you want to bolster here. And we can do it here. We can all do that here. But I would say what you do, you put very severe tariffs on from coming into other countries. You'll be making your own fertilizer very soon.
In fact, Secretary Burgum, this cabinet is so remarkable. Instead of just seeing each other every month, we're literally talking every day, multiples of times a day. But our Secretary of the Interior, I, and Secretary Bessent and others, we have a whole plan in place, including the reshoring of fertilizer and the opportunity to do it in America. Having said that, we've also, per the President's guidance, issued a directive. These fertilizer companies, the seed companies, the equipment companies, all of the above, as our farmers have struggled year over year, the meat packing companies continue to make, a lot of money, hand over fist, a lot of foreign-owned companies. So that's why the President has been very unequivocal in saying we got to figure out why all these input costs are skyrocketing and all of our farmers are struggling, which we're going to do.
So
That is a
when they
great
take-
question.
When
and very
they take like
important.
fertilizer out of the country, all of a sudden we don't do it anymore. And then they start charging and sending it, very high prices from other countries, whether it's Canada or somebody else. We're not going to let that happen. Okay?
Mr. President, on the quality
figure.
of foreign produce, you spoke about soybeans and how the quality here in the United States obviously is a lot better.
That's what I've heard.
Yeah, is the default of this administration, because that's an issue I understand with root vegetables, citrus as well, is the default of this administration that even if it's a little bit more expensive homegrown, you will choose homegrown over cheaper produce abroad?
I like homegrown. You know, some things we can't grow because we don't have the heat. There are some things, you know, little delicacies, or maybe not such delicacies, but they grow better in warmer climates, very warm climates actually. But for the most part, I like homegrown.
Mr. President, thank you. One on this announcement and then one on foreign policy, if I may. Are you open to tapping into tariff revenue again should farmers find they need additional relief to get to that level?
Yeah, if we're going to make the farmers so strong, and I'm not even talking about financially, because they just want to be able to produce what they can produce, and we're going to make them so strong that it will be indeed a golden age for farmers.
And then on Russia and
you know, we had it going in the first administration, and then Biden came in and ruined everything. They had no idea what they would. They did. I mean, I think they hated the farmer. I love the farmer. That's why I got 94% of the vote from the farmers. But they hated the farmers. I love the farmers. Go ahead.
And then on Russia and Ukraine, obviously your administration has been having talks with each side. Given that there is no peace deal at this point, will your administration stay engaged in those talks to effort a peace deal?
We just want to see people stop from being killed. You know, we don't, as you know, Joe Biden gave them $350 billion. You know, and I gave them nothing. I did give them javelins at the beginning and knocked out a hell of a lot of attacks. But and Obama gave sheets. Remember, Obama gave sheets and I gave javelins. But no, we have a great situation going over there, except for one problem. You got a lot of people dying, and I want to see that stop. So you have mostly Ukrainian soldiers and Russian soldiers. Last month, 27,000 soldiers died, mostly soldiers. A few people from the dropping of a missile in the middle of Kiev or wherever, which is a terrible thing. But mostly soldiers. 27,000 soldiers died last month. That's what I want to see stop. We, as you know, we now sell equipment to NATO at full price, and NATO takes that equipment and probably gives it to Ukraine. I guess they could give it to others too, but for the most part, give it to Ukraine. And they're working with Ukraine in terms of distribution of equipment, missiles, etc. But we aren't spending money. What we are doing is spending time on a humane basis. We want to see if we can stop the killing of 27. It would have never happened. This war would have never happened if the election weren't rigged. If I were president, this war would have never happened.
President Trump, if you could talk a lot about the soybean purchases. You've talked a lot, obviously, about China's soybean purchases. Some lawmakers from North and South Carolina have raised concern that U.S. tobacco farmers were told that China would not purchase flu-cured tobacco this year. Has that come up in your conversations at all?
I haven't heard that, but we're doing well. The tobacco people, because of the deals I made, they're doing very well. But that could be, if it's the case, I can get it solved very quickly.
Do you President Trump, let us know how you settled on this $12 billion or $11 billion plus $1 more billion figure?
We looked at how they were hurt, to what extent they were hurt. We did a very, steady progression of charts, and we figured out a very exact number, and it was about $12 billion. Okay?
President Trump, if you had one Christmas wish for America besides making American farmers great again, what would it be?
I would say very simply, I go by a statement when people ask that question. Remember that question was asked to Ted Kennedy, and they said, "Well, what are you going to do to make America great?" And he couldn't answer the question. I have a very simple: we're going to make America greater than ever before, and we're going to do it through a series of tariffs, intelligent taxes, and incentives. And our country has never been stronger. We've never had anything like coming in. We have $18 trillion coming into our country right now. There's never been anything like it. And if you ask me that, I'll say I just want to keep doing what I'm doing because there's never been anything like it's happened.
Do you support
the biggest number ever in history was $2 trillion, and we're at $18 trillion. This is money pouring into our country on building car plants, on building AI plants. We just want to keep doing exactly what we're doing because nothing like this has ever happened in the history of the world, not just our country. There's never been, Scott, would you say that's right? There's never been anything like the investments coming into America.
So this is a record year. Record year.
Do you support the Paramount deal, sir?
On healthcare, Mr. President, 22 million Americans are expected to see their healthcare insurance premiums start to rise by the beginning of next year.
You're talking about because Obamacare is so bad?
Yes, well, sir, because the Obamacare subsidies are expiring. Are you going to do
That's because
anything?
Obamacare is so bad.
What is the Republican plan? Are you going to let that happen on your watch?
What I'm going to do is, if the Democrats go along with it, which they don't want to because they want to make the insurance companies very rich, okay? I want the money to be paid to the people to go out and buy their own health care instead of paying to the, the insurance companies, their stock has gone up 1,700% in a short period of time. Did you know that? 1,700. You wish your corn went up, Ed. But the insurance companies' stock has gone up by 1,700%, 1,800%. They're taking in trillions of dollars. I don't want to pay the insurance companies anything. And I know a lot of them, but they're owned by the Democrats. And the Democrats have, Obamacare is a setup to make insurance companies rich. And I want to pay the people, and I want the people to go out and buy their own health care. And that's what we want to do, and that's what the Republicans want to do, because Obamacare is a disaster. And I said it 5 years ago, 4 years ago, 3 years ago. It was always a disaster. It's bad health care that's too expensive for people. And now your premiums, and you said it better than I said it. You said the Obamacare premiums are going to go up. They're going way up. And what I want to do is have the money. And you know who's getting that money? A lot of it is the insurance companies. I want the people to get the money and go out and buy their own health care. And everybody wants that. Right? Okay.
When Mr. President's putting that bill on the floor, sir.
Do you have any reaction on the fine that was imposed to X by the European
For what?
Union? To X, to the platform X, the fine that the
Wow,
European
that's
Union
pretty amazing. You're talking about, is that European Union or is it, who did that? European Union or UK?
Yeah, the European Commission.
Whoa, that's a nasty one. I
Maybe
don't
consider it an attack.
Elon has not called me to ask for help on that one. But no, that's a tough thing. I don't think it's right. No, I don't think it's right. I don't see, how they can do that. No. I'll speak about it later. I'm going to get a full report on it. Look, Europe has to be very careful. They're doing a lot of things. We want to keep Europe. Europe is going in some bad directions. It's very bad for the people. We don't want Europe to change so much. They're going in some very bad directions. That was a big thing.
You directed a review of the childhood vaccine schedule, possibly to match what is on par with peer nations in Europe. Would you support ending federal mandates and just making those recommendations for schools?
You're going to have to say it again.
As far as the vaccine
Louder.
As far as the vaccine schedule for children, would you support ending the federal mandates and making it optional for schools?
Well, we're looking at a lot of things having to do with vaccines and with the different. I think we take like 88 different shots, all wrapped up in one big glass of stuff like that, and we're going to be reducing it very substantially.
Do you support the Paramount
It'll be safe,
bid, Mr. President?
but we're going to be reducing it very
Do you
substantially.
support the Paramount bid for Warner Brothers? That
I
came
don't
this
know enough
morning?
about it.
You spoke about Netflix last night, saying you have concerns about them.
I know the companies very well. I know what they're doing, but I have to see what percentage of market they have. We have to see the Netflix percentage of market, Paramount, the percentage of market. I mean, none of them are particularly great friends of mine. I want to do what's right. It's so very important to do what's
The
right.
Paramount deal is supported by Jared Kushner, Mr. President. Would that impact your decision?
If Paramount is, I don't know. I've never spoken to him about it. He's really trying to work on Gaza. I think Gaza's his primary thing is Gaza.
If you're making house visits on Christmas Eve, as he suggested, does the beast need to be fitted with sleigh rails?
You want to answer that question?
Absolutely. We should put sleigh rails on the beast, yes.
Do you support that?
Go ahead.
That Republican plan that you just talked about when it comes to health care, when do you expect Republicans to put that
We're
on?
looking at it very strongly, and we're also going to the Democrats and asking them to do it. The Democrats want to make the insurance companies rich. They're all paid off by the insurance companies. A tremendous amount of the insurance company funding goes to Democrats. Why don't you ask that question of the Democrats? Because I would love to do it. I'd love all of the money to go to the people. They go to the people. You know, I put that out 2 weeks ago. It became #1 viral. People love it. I want the money to go for healthcare, to go to the people and let the people buy their own healthcare through an account. They can buy their own healthcare. And everybody loves it, except for the Democrats. And you know why they don't? Because they're paid off by the insurance companies. Okay, what else?
Yeah, Alina Habba says she's stepping down as U.S. Attorney for the District of New Jersey after the courts disqualified her. Do you have any comment on that?
Well, she's not disqualified. You've got a blue slip thing that's horrible. It's a horrible thing. It makes it impossible to appoint a judge or a U.S. attorney, and it's a shame. And the Republicans should be ashamed of themselves that they allowed this to go on, because I can't appoint a U.S. attorney that's not a Democrat, because they put a block on it. So if you appoint in Virginia or in New Jersey or in California a U.S. attorney or a judge, I mean, a judge situation is ridiculous. The only people that you can get by are Democrats, because they will put a hold on it. If I put up George Washington and Abraham Lincoln to be U.S. attorney in New Jersey or to be U.S. attorney in Virginia, we have Democrat senators, they will not approve them. And this is a gentleman's agreement that's lasted for too long, and it doesn't make it, especially in light of what's going on today. It means you can't appoint a Republican U.S. attorney, and we don't play the same game with them, but they do. And I hope that somebody speaks to Senator Grassley about doing something about the blue slip, because I'm telling you, John, I put up great people, top people, highest education, the best lawyers to be like U.S. attorney, and both senators, it only takes one. But if they're Democrat senators, they say, we're not going to approve it. I had a couple of them say, why don't you appoint Democrats? All because Senator Grassley, with his blue slip stuff, will not let anybody go by. By the way, the Democrats have violated the blue slip provision on numerous occasions. But we don't do it. And what it means is, I guess I just have to keep appointing people for 3 months and then just appoint another one. And it's a very sad situation. We're losing a lot of great people. We have about 7 U.S. attorneys who are not going to be able to keep their jobs much longer because of the blue slip. Because unless, I think I know why they did that, to protect their ass. Okay, that's why they did that. But it should be done away with. I want to be able to appoint the most highly educated, the most respected people. They can't keep their jobs because of the blue slips. Terrible. Okay, thank you very much, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you.
The farmers, let's come into the Oval Office. All right, Deb, come on. We're going to go into the Oval Office.
Thank you, Press.
You're going to see what a real office is. You keep your little...
Thank you, Press. Let's go. Thank you.
I keep it.
Keep going. Thank you, Press. Hey, Tyler. Thank you, Press. Let's go. Let's go. Thank you. Thank you, Press. Keep going. I know.
And a stellar event with the President of the United States and farmers here in America. As some breaking news coming across the channels during that time, and with all the great questions coming from the White House press pool, J.B. Pritzker once again in the news, and it being found that, I can pull it up here, Mr. Pritzker himself, new reports showing that the Illinois Governor, J.B. Pritzker, has released over 1,700 illegal aliens, including murderers, rapists, and pedophiles, back into the community in 2025, so they could avoid ICE detainers. So from Illinois to Minnesota, some of these blue states continue to see some of the most bizarre policies put into place by the far left. And on this day of the Immaculate Conception, a big day for Catholics in the country, the president putting out a lovely statement in regards to that celebration today, as it's a big part of the Advent season. But thank you for all tuning in today at this RSBN live desk just after 3:30 Eastern. And again, on the road tomorrow for some rather wonderful coverage. Mr. Matthew Alvarez in Mount Pocono, Pennsylvania, in the Commonwealth for what's sure to be a wonderful event on domestic policy. And President Trump touching on that this week and in that meeting specifically, that roundtable event that we just witnessed. We'd like to thank our sponsors here at Right Side Broadcasting Network. It is Kalshi.com/RSBN. A Fed decision in December. Can that happen? Will they maintain where they're at, or will they be cut by roughly 25%? We'll see what Too Late Jerome Powell has in store. Will the Georgia Bulldogs be the college football champions? Trade on anything. Kalshi.com/RSBN. It's sports, it's music, it's politics, culture, and more in the American experiment. Again, Kalshi.com/RSBN. Trade on anything there. And we also like to thank our friends over at angelpaste.com. Experience the miracle that is the Miracle Cream. I use it every day. Vitamin B infused, non-GMO, non-chemicals, good for your skin, especially this time of year, but always good year-round. The orange option, vitamin C infused and non-chemical, non-GMO. And there's the natural facial spray. Experience the miracle today at angelpaste.com. They are Christian-owned. They hire veterans, and they're out of Spring, Texas, right off that Gulf of America. Angelpaste.com. Thank you for sponsoring us on the Right Side of History. And feel free to support us here at Right Side Broadcasting Network. It's rsbnetwork.com/donate. You may also text RSBN to 801-801. And check or money order can go to 1550 Opelika Road, Suite 6, Box 344, the loveliest village on the plains. That's Auburn, Alabama, 36830. Again, 1550 Opelika Road, Suite 6, Box 344. Again, the loveliest village on the plains. That is Auburn, Alabama, 36830. Again, on this Feast of the Immaculate Conception, President Trump, I won't read the entire message that he sent out, but he's like to say today, I recognize every American celebrating December 8th as a holy day honoring the faith, humility, and love of Mary, Mother of Jesus, and one of the greatest figures in the Bible, and went throughout the history of Marian devotions playing a distinct role in American history. In 1792, less than a decade after the end of the Revolutionary War, Bishop John Carroll, first Catholic bishop in the United States and cousin of the signer of a Declaration of Independence, Charles Carroll, consecrated our young nation to the Mother of Christ. Less than a quarter century later, Catholics attributed General Andrew Jackson's stunning victory over the British in the climactic Battle of New Orleans to Mary. Every year, Catholics celebrate a mass of Thanksgiving in New Orleans on January 8th, in memory of Mary's assistance in saving the city. And then President Trump also sharing this amazing devotion throughout all of North America and the Americas with Our Lady of Guadalupe in 1531 as we approach 250 years of glorious American independence. We acknowledge and give thanks with total gratitude for Mary's role advancing peace, hope, and love of America beyond our shores. So President Trump saying in her honor and on this special day for Catholic citizens, we remember the sacred words that have brought aid, comfort, and support to generations of American believers in times of need, ending the message with the Hail Mary prayer. So thank you, President Trump, for acknowledging this season as First Lady Melania Trump. We saw her earlier being out and about with the kids getting ready for the Christmas holiday. Get all America First updates and exclusive offers right here at Right Side Broadcasting Network, rsbnetwork.com/newsletter. Please like, share, and subscribe to get that message out there that we are here for you as your go-to live desk. If there's any breaking news, we'll be back here with you. In the meantime, we'll see you tomorrow for a great domestic rally to talk about those big policies making inflation go down, things a bit more affordable, and 2026 we can all look forward to. Until then, thank you for tuning in to Right Side Broadcasting Network. I'm Robert McNeely. God bless you on this Monday and the Feast of the Immaculate Conception, and we will see you very soon.
Welcome to Right Side Broadcasting Network, your trusted conservative news outlet. At RSBN, we deliver the truth when the mainstream media falls short. Since 2015, we've proudly broadcasted every single one of President Trump's iconic MAGA rallies, bringing you the excitement and energy live before anyone else. By watching RSBN, you get an unfiltered front row view of the action on the ground. We interview the crowds to give a voice to millions of Americans just like you. We show you President Trump's speeches in their entirety, free from interruptions and censorship. We cover the stories that matter to you with the integrity and passion you deserve. Thank you for choosing RSBN as your home for America First News. Together, we stand strong, united, and informed. So join us and be part of the right side of history.
Every once in a while, something big happens. Something that changes everything. And now, in a defining moment for crypto, Trump Media Group and Crypto.com are joining forces to acquire up to $6.4 billion of CRO, launching America's first ever CRO treasury, empowering the Kronos blockchain. This is more than a partnership. It's the future of finance built in America. For more, visit Crypto.com, where millions trade CRO every day.
Tired of being told no by your doctor, your pharmacy, or worse, your insurance company? You're not alone. Millions of Americans are waking up to a broken healthcare system. That's why more and more people are turning to All Family Pharmacy. We believe in medical freedom. We deliver the prescription and the medication, all from licensed U.S. doctors and pharmacists, from ivermectin and trusted antibiotics to maintenance medications, even NAD+, the revolutionary anti-aging supplement. Use code RSBN10 at checkout for 10% off your first order.
Hey y'all, it's Silk from Diamond and Silk Chit Chat Live. Look, don't forget to watch my show right here at Right Side Broadcasting Network, and I want you to support Right Side Broadcasting Network. It's imperative that you do so, okay? Bye-bye.